Hey guys, tonight we're crawling into a Sufi circle under stars so sharp they could slice through your existential dread. Picture this, your bare feet press into sand, still humming with daytime heat, and 100 shadowy figures sway around a fire. That's right, you're about to get spiritually schooled by desert mystics. Spoiler alert, you'll walk away questioning whether sand or your life has worse drainage issues. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with your location and local time. Let's see who's braving midnight in Reykjavik versus sipping matcha in Kyoto. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You pad through cooling sands, each step sinking deeper as stars prick the darkening sky. A circle materializes, robed figures cross-legged and humming, their voices merging with the scrape of palm fronds. Someone grabs your wrist, calloused fingers, cinnamon-scented, and tugs you down. Breathe with the stars, rasps a voice like wind through a cracked jug. Your first lesson starts ridiculously lungs. The elder face, a leathery map of forgotten caravan routes, demonstrates. Inhale through the nose for 7 counts. Hold, exhale through pursed lips like you're whistling at a camel. Historians still argue whether 9th century Sufis borrowed breathwork from Buddhist monks or just really hated how desert air tasted. Torchlight gilds the elder's henned beard as they snap bony fingers. Your ribs see how they mimic starlight patterns. You glance up at Orion's belt, down at your torso. Nope, just indigestion from that roadside falafel. Silence pools around the circle, thick enough to drown in. Your throat itches. A laugh bubbles up sharp and misplaced, but dies when the elder arches an eyebrow. Sand has ears, they murmur. It hoards secrets better than Alexandria's library. Fun fact, Bedouin navigators once used the North Star to chart routes across unmapped dunes. Quirkier fact, camels store fat in their humps, not water. So that whole walking canteen thing, total myth, like thinking influencers actually enjoy detox teas. The elder claps, a sound like cracking clay, and gestures to the heavens. Count your breaths until the Pleiades blink twice. You fumble, losing track at 17 when a shooting star streaks overhead. Ah, they chuckle. Allah's wink. Someone's stomach growls yours. The circle tenses. A child giggles. The elder tosses a date pit into the fire. Hunger is a guest, they intone. Offer it mint tea, not your dignity. Wind sculpts dunes around you, each sigh carrying whispers of merchants, warriors, lovers. Your phone buzzes in your pocket. Deadly mistake. The elder's staff thumps the sand beside your thigh. Devices drain more than batteries. They hiss. Silence your tiny screaming box. You comply. The night swells, crickets replacing tick-tock pings. The elder murmurs a parable about a jackal who tried to outrun its shadow. Spoiler, it tripped. The punchline, we're all that jackal. Cool sand trickles between your toes. A scorpion skitters past, carrying the vibe of that one coworker who loves casual Friday meetings. The elder doesn't flinch. Every creature here teaches, even the stingers. Your spine aches. You shift. Sand cascades from your robe, a mini Saharan avalanche. The elder tilts their head. Westerners sit like startled meerkats, knees to chest. Let your hips swallow the earth. Stars wheel overhead, Van Gogh on a cosmic bender. The elder traces constellations with a rusted dagger. That one's Al-Jadi, the pole star before Polaris. Even heavens change loyalties. Breath steam hangs pale in the air now. The fire shrinks to embers. The elder presses a clay cup into your hands, bitter liquid, warmth seeping into your palms. Sip slowly, they warn. Truths hit harder than dates fermented in goat skin. Dawn pokes the horizon, apricot fingers uncurling. The circle stirs, robes rustling like autumn leaves. You stand knees popping like bubble wrap and brush off sand. The elder grasps your elbow. Tomorrow, they whisper, will unpack why you still crave Wi-Fi in paradise. Your toes find flip-flops buried under powdered dunes. The desert exhales, carrying the scent of sage and distant rain. Somewhere, a donkey brays. You smile. Maybe enlightenment smells like hoofprints and poor decisions. The end or oops, wait, the video's still rolling. My bad. Toss a like if you're still awake. Smash subscribe for more existential desert vibes. And remember, breathwork won't fix your credit score. But hey, neither will astrology. You sit cross-legged as tawny earth breathes warmth upward, grains of sand still clinging to your kneecaps. The elder's henned hand hovers above your wrist, waiting until you feel your own blood's percussion. Where does knowing begin? They ask, a question as old as camel caravans plodding toward Alexandria. Your fingertip finds that thrum beneath skin. 20 beats in the time it takes a moth to circle the fire. Some say Cleopatra's physicians diagnosed fevers by pulse alone, reading bodies like scrolls. Tonight, you're the manuscript, and the desert is doing the translating. A goatskin drum appears, weather cracked, smelling of myrrh, and the elder strikes it once. Your heartbeat answers. 12 thuds mirror 12 stars overhead, Betelgeuse winking through a haze of dust. Centuries back, mystics mapped 7 pulse points to celestial spheres. Medics still borrow their terms today. But here now, the lesson's simpler. The drum speaks. Your veins answer. A tourist's smartwatch would have flashed warnings. Your ribs know better than silicone chips. The Nile floods. The moon tugs. Your cells remember. The elder's words blur with the rhythm. Your thumb strays to that tender hollow below your jaw, proof you're more plumbing than poetry. Yet, when the drum skips, so do you. Historians still argue whether those same rhythms birthed Gregorian chants, or if monks stole the beat from Bedouin water carriers. Either way, your carotid artery couldn't care less. It keeps time like a smuggler counting coins. Steady, secret, survivalist. Wind gusts, heating your left ear with Saharan gossip, as the elder demonstrates a truth no one asked for. They press 2 fingers to a boy's neck, drummers sink to his fluttery tempo. Then yours. Then the crunch of a scarab rolling dung uphill. All one song, apparently. A 13th century Persian text claims counting another's pulse for 60 breaths reveals their greatest lie. You reach 63 cheating, but the desert keeps your secret. Someone starts humming low and off-key until the drum absorbs the sound. Now your pulses in your tongue, your elbows, that weird vein behind your right knee, they'll never put an IV into. The elder smiles like a baker watching bread rise. Pharaohs called this the Nile of the flesh, unstoppable, indispensable, occasionally disastrous. You picture hieroglyphic hearts floating in canopic jars, still beating for archivists with latex gloves. The drum quiets. Your wrists feel naked, exposed as a rabbit's throat. When you speak, the words come syncopated, so wisdom's just this. The elder presses a palm to your sternum, where fear and curiosity stage their daily wrestling match. Yusuf al-Farabi wrote 3 volumes on pulse lore, all burned when Mongol horses drank from Baghdad's library fountains. They pause, letting you taste the irony. What survives? A Bedouin proverb, trust the beat, not the drummer. Firelight etches the circle's faces into something ancient, or maybe just really dehydrated. A girl to your left gasps, her fingertips discovering her own biology. You half expect the elder to break into a lecture on ventricles. Instead, they inhale sharply. 12 drumbeats later precisely, a shooting star guts the sky. Coincidence? The universe's metronome. Your arteries vote for option 3. They make you stand ankles wobbling and press your palm flat to a neighbor's back. 2 pulses argue through layers of wool and sweat. Sufis hid rebellion in rhythm when Mongols banned our prayers. The elder murmurs. Tax collectors never noticed, too busy counting coins. The drum swells, twisting your heartbeat into a spiral. You're no longer sure where your veins end, and the night begins. When silence finally falls, it's the loudest sound you've ever heard. The elder wipes drum sweat from their brow. French soldiers occupying Algeria stole our pulse diagnosis techniques, called it Oriental cardiology in their journals. They spit sideways, a perfect arc, avoiding your sandals. But can you copyright a heartbeat? The question hangs, unanswered, as scorpions scribble replies in the dust. You sit heavy as a water jug, the lesson pooling in your shoelaces. Somewhere, a camel groans. The elder tosses sand onto the fire, coals hissing like betrayed lovers. Go on, ask. You don't. They answer anyway. 1986. A cardiologist in Marrakesh proved 40 days of drum listening lowers blood pressure. Published 0 papers. Too much mystical regression for peer review. The stars seem closer now, or maybe your skull's thinner. Your hands won't stop buzzing. The elder nods, pleased. That's the scorpion venom they slipped in your tea. Your head whips up, they're already chuckling. Joke. joke, mostly. The drum gets packed away, its voice muted under crimson cloth. You touch your throat, count to 17. Feel the truth thrum. Wisdom isn't in scrolls or stars tonight. It's in the meat, the mess, the miraculous sludge keeping you upright. Dawn bleeds purple at the edges when the elder whispers your takeaway. Body's just a water skin, but what it carries. They tap your sternum twice, the sound hollow and full at once. That's between you and whatever painted the leopard spots. You walk back to your tent, steps synced to a rhythm older than flint. The desert hums it. Your ribs hum it. Even your stupid blisters hum it. Here, always now. The third toe on your left foot twitches. Autonomic betrayal. As shadow brushes your ankle. You glance down. A scorpion straddles your sandal strap, carapace gleaming like obsidian chainmail tail arched in textbook threat. Your lungs freeze mid-breath, 7 separate muscles screaming to leap, but the elder's hand grips your forearm. Watch, they murmur, and for once, they're not smiling. Desert lore claims Cleopatra's death-scene asp was actually a Saharan fatal scorpion, a detail priests scrubbed from records as too common. Truth or Ptolemaic PR, either way, your current visitors, a male Androctonus australis, 8 centimeters of distilled evolutionary spite. His venom could drop a gazelle, or so claims your amygdala, currently redecorating your intestines. Historian pals still bicker whether ancient alchemists drank scorpion wine for visions, or just terrible taste. The elder's voice stays feather-soft, the scorpion sways, sensors tasting panic pheromones. Personally, I think they preferred the ones that glow under moonlight. Showmanship matters. You count heartbeats, 34, since the tail curled, and realize your thumbs digging into your own thigh. Breath 1, hot sand grit on tongue. 2, oiled leather smell from the elder's belt. 3, a bead of sweat tracing your spine. The scorpion adjusts its grip, microscopic claws rasping against hemp. Your kneecap twinges, yesterday's camel ride still gossiping with your joints. There's a 12th century Persian manual, the Codex of Stings, that claims scorpions never kill intentionally. The elder's knee pops as they crouch, says they're just enthusiastic conversationalists. The tail jabs air, not flesh, as if punctuating a sentence. Your esophagus tries to crawl out through your nostrils. Breath 4, ozone tang of distant lightning. 5, a moth's wing brushing your earlobe. 6, the phantom itch where you'd normally scratch. Now the realization. Your sprint reflex has vanished, replaced by something older. Cells remember. Stromatolites, tide pools. That time a trilobite outweighted a predator. The elder's shadow merges with yours as they lean closer. 1974, German biochemists found scorpion venom contains a peptide that stops metastasis in mice. Called it chlorotoxin. Their fingertip hovers above the scorpion's cephalothorax, not touching, just mapping contours. Cancer hospitals now buy it by the liter, but Bedouins. We've known its gifts since tents were dolphin skin. Breath 7. Musk of your own unwashed hair and something sweet. Jasmine. The scorpion's tail relaxes, segments unfolding like a bad punchline. It pivots, desert crab gait, and vanishes into the elder sleeve. They stand fluidly, arthritis forgotten, and toss you a clay vial from their satchel. Rub that on your soles tonight, unless you enjoy hallucinating camel spiders. Your legs regain sensation in stages, pins, needles, then angry knitting circles. The elder watches, bemused, as you inventory body parts. 5 centuries back, Sufis in Mali staged scorpion sittings to cure princes of arrogance. They scratch their wrist where the androctonus now rides hidden. Funny thing, crowns itch worse than venom and leave nastier scars. Someone's goatskin canteen gurgles, the sound absurdly loud. You try articulating your epiphany, but language feels clunky as a tourist's souvenir scimitar. The elder reads your face anyway. Stillness isn't passive, they say, flicking sand from their robe. It's the full body no that makes space for wiser yesies. Midnight bleeds toward dawn, stars swapping shifts. You sip brackish tea, eyes glued to the elder's sleeve. When they finally cough, a wet, unconvincing sound, you catch the glint of 8 amber eyes peeking out. Mutualism or parasitism? Another unanswerable. The desert thrives on those. They leave you with a wink and a warning. Tell the others I napped, or I'll mail your left sandal to Marrakesh's most creative taxidermist. Their laughter follows you back to camp, gravel skittering over stone. You check your ankles 5 times 6, 7. The real lesson, perhaps. Terror and transcendence share the same exoskeleton. Just add time. The campfire's embers spit rebellion as you approach, 2 students nursing blistered thumbs from misfired flint strikes. The elder materializes with a copper bowl, thick patina betraying centuries of use, and fills it with what looks like dried moth wings. Ottoman metalworkers forged these bowls to sing at specific frequencies. They say, striking the rim, the baying lingers, a metallic yawn stretching across 6 heartbeats. Someone giggles, a wiry disciple named Yusuf grabs date palm fronds, fanning the newborn flames like bailing out a sinking canoe. Fire lashes sideways, orange tongues licking bowl edges as the elder raises an eyebrow. When's the last time you saw desert grass stand rigid? Yusuf freezes mid-fan. The flames settle into rhythmic sways, a cobra hypnotizing itself. Your nose twitches, burnt sugar. Cinnamon, 12 generations back. A Persian mystic allegedly baked bread between his bare hands during snowstorms. Historians still argue whether he used sulfur pits or just had spectacular calluses. The elder drips resin into the bowl, scent, unlocking memories of your aunt's failed incense shop. Flames smarter than philosophers, murmurs the elder, rotating the bowl. Napoleon's men found Berber campfires still smoldering after 3-day sandstorms. Why? They built nests, not fortresses. Yusuf's fan now moves like a matador's cape, inviting, retreating. Smoke spirals write lazy Arabic above your head. Heat blisters the air. You count 6 distinct flame colors: gasoline blue, tangerine, a rogue streak of mint green. The elder catches your stare. 12th century glassmakers in Aleppo sneaked copper flakes into their furnaces just to watch the colors dance. Their chuckle rasps like match heads. We've always been easily amused. Silence stretches the good kind. 3 shooting stars veto your wish list. When the elder finally speaks, it's to the fire. Yielding isn't surrender. It's letting the wind think it's winning while you redirect its rage. Yusuf's fan halts. The flames stand upright suddenly, impossibly still. Someone's stomach growls. The elder tosses a date pit into the bowl. It blackens without igniting. Historian pals bicker whether desert fire rituals cured madness or just roasted enough figs to distract everyone. They rub soot into their beard, a grooming choice that questions all previous life decisions. Dawn's first yawn tints the dunes peach. The elder upends the bowl, ashes spiral downward, then ride a thermal upward. Watch, they say, voice gravelly with stolen sleep. Even dying flames leave behind possibilities. You inhale carbon and epiphany. The lesson's not in the burning. It's in the bending. The well's mouth exhales coolness. Your forearm hairs lift like supplicants. Your fingers fumble a sandstone pebble rounded by millennia of restless winds, its edges worn to a sigh. When you let go, the stone vanishes without protest. No splash, no ricochet, just the well's dry throat swallowing your small violence whole. They'll dig your bones up in 3,000 years, says the elder, appearing with a jar of something glistening. Archaeologists'll debate whether this was ritual or bad plumbing. Their laugh echoes 12 times. For a hot second, you envy the pebble's descent. No audience, no existential pop quizzes. A scarab beetle conducts urgent business across your sandal. You tap the well's rim, carved geometries, mirroring Nabatean water channels from Petra. Engineers back then could make a raindrop sing for 7 days across 60 miles of desert. Yet here, silence reigns. The elder dribbles honey into the darkness. It falls in hesitant golden threads. 1944, they muse. British radio operators in Libya swore wells carried messages. Said they heard Churchill's speeches bubbling up from aquifers. A beat turned out to be dysentery meds and bad tinned beef. You lob another stone, this one stolen from a Dubai skyscraper's faux Omani facade. The well consumes it like a cynic swallowing propaganda. Toss your terrors in, prods the elder. The Abbasid Caliphate buried executed poets here. Their verses still fertilize the dates. Your throat tightens. 13 unsent letters to a dead parent flutter behind your ribs. The elder presses a clay shard into your palm, cool as a guilty conscience. Cleopatra's engineers dropped copper pipes here 1st century BCE, worked better than her love life. Wind riffles the elder's beard, now suspiciously dust-free. Historians still argue whether desert wells stored water or just generations of unwept tears. Their tone softens. Try screaming. I'll deny hearing anything. You lean over the abyss. The first shout emerges as a croak. The second shreds your vocal cords raw. By the 9th, you're howling in a dead dialect. The well agrees with itself, each echo dampened, absorbed, edited. When you straighten up, the elders popping a date pit from their molar. Funny thing, they say. Wells this deep? Sometimes they answer in someone else's voice. They flick the pit into the void. 3 breaths pass. A faint clink rises, like a spoon tapping a wineglass in toast. Dust motes swim in a sunbeam's spotlight. Your shoulders feel 20 pounds lighter, or maybe that's dehydration. The elder produces a goatskin bag. Drink. It's filtered through 12 meters of other people's regrets. The water tastes like forgiveness and a hint of pomegranate. Footsteps approach, Yusuf dragging a bucket of scorpions. The elder waves him off. You'll have nightmares, Yusuf warns. Last guy who drank that saw his childhood dog's ghost, wearing a fez. She looked dapper, the elder retorts. They trace the well's rim, finger drawing a half-moon in the grit. Burn your old diaries. Bury your ex's poetry. This throat accepts all donations. You hesitate. The well hums, a sound felt in molars, not ears. When you drop the clay shard, it falls slower than physics allows. The elder winks. Gravity's negotiable here. So's shame. Behind you, a student sobs into their headscarf. The elder yells without turning. Minimum 1 scream per customer, and no discounts for existential dread. Their joke lands like a deflating balloon. The sobs taper into wet chuckles. Stars prickle the bruised sky. You press your palm to the well's cool lip, feeling vibrations from things lost long before your birth. The elder produces a flute carved from a vulture's wingbone. Its melody flutters into the shaft and emerges as a Dinka herdsman's lullaby. Told you, they shrug. Don't underestimate vertical mail service. A bat zigzags overhead, drawn by secrets it can't digest. The elder pockets the flute. Every scream's a love letter to the universe. Just needs the right postage. Dawn licks the eastern dunes. The well exhales a breeze smelling of wet newspaper and buried thunderstorms. Your pockets hang empty now, all stones and shards surrendered. The elder spits into the void. There, now some future archaeologist will find my DNA and die of disappointment. Your laugh startles a nearby lizard. It flicks its tail in judgment. The elder grins, teeth stained by too many questionable teas. They pat the well like a favorite camel. Best therapist in 6 provinces. No appointments, accepts walk-ins, payment in bad decisions. You turn to leave. The well's breath follows, cool fingers through your hair, carrying the faintest whisper of your mother's voice. Or maybe the wind's doing impressions again. The elder doesn't react. They're too busy sketching crude camel graffiti on the stones, humming off-key. Sand grits between your toes as you crouch, index finger poised like a pilgrim's pen. The verse forms haltingly. Beyond right and wrong, the letters blur, your knuckle dragging through dust that's 70% crushed Roman pottery. A night breeze skims the dunes, erasing wrong before you finish beyond. The elder materializes, smelling of burnt sage, and regret their shadow, bisecting your half-poem. Rumi died mid-couplet during a rainstorm, they say. Left 764 completed works, and one magnificently rude interruption. Their sandal nudges your unfinished line. Wins an harsh editor, but free. You rewrite the words, larger this time, only for a scarab beetle to march through beyond, like Godzilla through Tokyo. The elder snorts. 13th century rumor claims Rumi's scribes hid verses in goat cheese. Aging revealed secret stanzas and gave historians lactose intolerance. A student drops dates into your lap, sticky as unsent apologies. You try reciting the famous opening, but your tongue rebels. Masnavi's first line took 40 days to write, the elder notes. Worms ate the original parchment, histories built on insect leftovers. Wind resurfaces, your poem becomes dune script, then abstract art, then smooth nothing. The elder traces a spiral where wrong once stood. Archaeologists found Rumi's tomb in qanat layered with 99 names and one grocery list. Turns out mystics need figs too. You flick a date pit at the spiral. The elder catches it midair, a parlor trick they'll deny perfecting. Historians still argue whether Rumi's later poems were collaborations or his dead mentor whispering through a cracked wall. Their gaze sharpens. Does it matter? Dust motes swirl into temporary constellations above your ruined verse. A shooting star etches the sky you have expected to spell Amen. The elder slurps water loudly from a goatskin. That well waters in your veins now. Write with blood instead. You jab your thumb on a hidden thorn, a crimson bead swelling like a forbidden period. The elder nods approval. Better. All holy books start as stains. Your blood-lettered beyond glistens for 3 proud breaths before ants drag it underground. 18th century collectors paid in camels for Rumi fragments, the elder says, scratching their neck rash. Smart ants. Those scrolls disintegrated, but your hemoglobin, fertilizing tomorrow's thorns. They spit, the moisture vanishes before hitting sand. Permanences overrated, like pants in summer. You collapse backward, hair splayed like a vandalized halo. Stars mock your efforts with their own timeless flickers. The elder looms upside down in your vision, beard defying gravity. They'll translate this moment in a museum someday. Undiscovered scribe, probably constipated. A child's laugh interrupts there, using your shins as drum stools. The elder tosses them a date pit. Rumi's cookbook suggested falafel as spiritual practice. Fold the dough, release attachment, except you'll burn some. The kid sticks the pit up their nose. Moonlight bleaches your remaining words to ghost script. The elder produces a sieve dribbling sand through its rusted mesh. Sift enough desert, you'll find letters worn smooth as old coins. Their laughter gusts your last syllable into the dark. There, now it's perfect. Coyote yips punctuate the silence. You finger paint a lopsided heart, the elder stomps it flat. Sentimental rot. Next, you'll want hashtags. They yank you upright, fingers cool as museum glass. Truths aren't written, they're survived. Let the wind win, and you'll outlast the paper. Dawn stains the eastern dunes peach. Your ghost poem lingers in muscle memory, finger twitching like a dying scorpion's tail. The elder kicks sand over every trace. Sleep. The desert will draft version 912 by noon, and still get the last line wrong. Heat shimmers play tricks as dusk stains the dunes violet. A silhouette lumbers into view, swaying humps, cutting the horizon like parentheses. The elder's hand lands on your shoulder, dry as papyrus. 9 days without drink, yet her lashes glisten for other sorrows. You squint, the camel's eye blinks vertically, a third lid flicking sideways like a metronome. Ottoman caravanserai kept ledgers. The elder murmurs. One entry lists a camel weeping over a dead sparrow, invoiced as hydration tax. Their chuckle sparks a coughing fit. Accountants make terrible mystics. The beast plods closer, nostrils flaring at your scent. Historians still argue whether caravan drivers misunderstood tear ducts for spiritual depth or recognized kinship in salt water. Your throat tightens, suddenly aware of your own unwept reservoirs. Fat in those humps isn't water, the elder says, snapping a thorn branch. But burn it right. You get 16 gallons of sweat and one good lament. They offer the branch to the camel, who devours it with the crunch of skulls underfoot. Watch the jaws grind stone to meal. Yet they choose gentleness, mostly. A calf ambles behind, its humps deflated as failed soufflés. They're born without these, the elder notes. First year's thirst shapes the curve, like grief sculpts a soul. The mother nuzzles her offspring, leaving a wet streak on its fur. Tears for tomorrow's journey, borrowed against yesterday's droughts. Your canteen sloshes, a shameful contrast to the creature's storied restraint. The elder catches your glance. Bedouin legends say camels carry unspent cries in their humps, voice forgotten, body remembers. They pat the nearest flank. What's your body hoarding? Moonrise sharpens the shadows to knife edges. The camel releases a guttural moan that vibrates your molars. Ah, the love song, the elder smirks. Mating call or death rattle. Even Sufis can't agree. The sound folds into the night, a date pit spat into eternity. Moonlight carves your shadow into the dunes, stretching your silhouette until it resembles an inked quill. You shift your weight. The warped figure mimics you 3 breaths late, as if reconsidering each motion. Persian astronomers mapped constellations by their shadows' lengths, murmurs the elder, tracing a crescent in the air. Cleopatra's court once paid 800 silver coins for a Nubian shadow reader, but he only interpreted camel tracks. Their sandal scrapes the ground, your shadow's neck elongates into something jackal-sleek. A hot breeze rearranges the dunes, your darkness ripples like funeral silk. Historians still argue whether ancient shadow puppetry began as temple ritual or drunken tavern jokes. The elder snorts. Same difference, gods and clowns. Both hate being ignored. You crouch, fingers meeting your shadow's outstretched hand. A full arm span between flesh and silhouette. Notice how it never resents the light's angle. The elder kicks sand, your fragmented shadow reforms instantly. Lovers quarrel, thieves split loot, children plot rebellions. Shadows just kiss the earth that cripples them. A cloud swallows the moon, your outline dissolves into the greater dark. Medieval Cairo had shadow duels, they whisper. 2 men, 1 candle. Whoever's silhouette touched first lost. Rumors say the winner's shadow grew heavier for weeks. Light returns, your shadow sprouts anew from the knees up, a truncated version eating your legs. The elder huffs a laugh. There's your first lesson. We're all half erased most days. The art is pretending otherwise. Scorpions skitter through the indigo between your toes and their shadows. Watch the stingers. Even their darkness tries to warn you. The elder's own shadow stretches improbably thin, reaching toward a cluster of silver acacia. You swear you see its fingers pluck a leaf. But when you blink, only wind stirs the branches. Sufis in Mali dance with shadow lions, they say, rolling up their sleeves. Not metaphorically, they hire real lion tamers. Mysticism's cheaper when you share dangers. You tense as their shadow's arm separates completely, snaking across the sand like spilled ink before snapping back into place. The elder grips your wrist, their palm cooler than the night. 33 years I've taught here, and still my shadow forgets to age. Their face creases under moonlight. Your own shadow leans closer, a silent student at the edge of sight. When dawn pales the east, your silhouette bleeds into the desert floor, a fading tattoo. The elder's voice follows you as shapes blur. Tonight's lesson, shadows forgive. Tomorrow's, forgive yourself for casting them. The air still hums with the elder's last words about forgiveness when a new sound pierces the dark. A bird's cry sharp enough to chip flint. Your molars vibrate. The note doesn't change, doesn't fade, just hammers the same discordant tone. Nightingale, says the elder, though this sounds nothing like the poet's liquid trills. Persian bards kept them in gilded cages, fed them saffron and crushed pearls. Fat lot of good it did. The bird shrieks again. Your jaw clenches like it's biting rope. Historians still argue whether Al-Razi prescribed nightingale bile for melancholy, or just enjoyed torturing insomniacs. The elder snaps their fingers 12 times, each snap syncing with the bird's cry. Count repetitions, not the notes themselves. By the seventh shriek, your temples pulse in rhythm. A 14th century Venetian merchant claimed desert nightingales sang the souls of drowned sailors, hence the salt in their throats. You're pretty sure this one's just an avian car alarm. The elder crouches, palms cupping warm sand. Bedouin storytellers say 20 listens reveals the true song. Doesn't make it pleasant, just comprehensible. You count the 18th cry identical to the first. When something shifts, the note splinters, refracts, becomes two tones humming against each other. There, murmurs the elder, the cry beneath the cry. Moonlight glints on something in their palm, a tiny brass ear trumpet. Ottoman bird trainers used these, made falcons hear their own heartbeat, calmed them mid-stoop. The 21st cry comes, and the discord melts into aching sweetness. Your shoulders drop. You hadn't realized they'd hunched toward your ears. The elder smirks. Ever met someone who only yells? Same principle. Underneath's a scared child, singing off-key to seem brave. A feather drifts down jet black with one cobalt streak. Mali shamans wear these, says the elder, tucking it behind your ear, not for magic, just to remind them which way the wind's lying. The nightingale falls silent. Its absence throbs louder than any cry. You flex your jaw, still tender from clenched teeth. 500 years ago, French surgeons implanted nightingale tongues in mute patients. The elder snorts. Bet that worked splendidly. They press a date seed into your palm, carved with musical notation. Next time your mother-in-law lectures, suck on this and count to 20. Dawn stains the horizon peach. The bird's silhouette bobs on a thorn bush, throat still quivering. Funny thing, says the elder, brushing sand from their robe. That bird's been dead since Tuesday. You're hearing an echo of its last argument with the moon. Your shadow stretches west as you turn to leave, nowhere near 18 syllables in its shape. The elder's chuckle follows. Don't worry, tomorrow's lesson involves camels and calculus. Bring a vomit bucket and an open mind. The elder's laughter about vomit buckets still hangs in the air when a clay bowl materializes in your hands, rough textured, colder than desert night. Liquid sloshes inside. A smell like storm-racked beaches stings your nostrils. Drink, says the elder, but slowly if you enjoy throat linings. Salt explodes across your tongue, a briny punch that makes your eyes water. For 3 choking seconds, you're certain they distilled seawater from a mermaid's spite. The elder smirks. Persian caravans once followed salt crusts like breadcrumbs, led them straight to Atlantis's dusty cousin. They tapped the bowl's rim. This came up from the Tethys. See, 50 million years late to the party. Historians still argue whether Cleopatra scrubbed her skin with dead sea salt or just enjoyed watching slaves haul dripping baskets. Your throat burns worse than that time you gulped cayenne-laced reiki at a Marrakesh street stall. Feel that sting? Proof you're alive, the elder chuckles. Worked for Ottoman pickle merchants, and martyrs nursing broken hearts. The bowl circulates, hands passing it like a cursed relic. A silver-haired woman beside you gulps hers without flinching. Finnish sauna masters toss this stuff on hot rocks, she rasps. Steam strips your sins, leaves you pink as a newborn rat. Her wink suggests personal experience. Dune winds moan through date palms overhead, or maybe it's just your stomach protesting. The elder crouches, sifting sand through fingers. 16th century camel traders used salt lick stones as currency. Lick a rock, taste its worth. They nod at your grimace. Your face says this batch rates 30 camels and a defective goatskin tent. Someone retches in the shadows. The elder doesn't look up. French archaeologists once drank 3 gallons of Nile silt searching for Alexander's tomb. Spent a week praising porcelain gods. They pause. We learn from others' poor choices, or die regurgitating epiphanies. When the bowl returns to you, it's lighter, but the liquid's darker, swirling with specks of mica. You sip, this time catching notes of kelp and burnt honey beneath the salt. Better, says the elder. First sip's always a knife, seconds the wound waking up. A child's cough echoes harsh, wet as the elder lifts the bowl skyward. Ancestors called this Allah's paradox, water that dehydrates, poison that clarifies. Moonlight fractures through the brine. Your darkest tears, some Bedouin matriarch prayed for them 3 centuries back. Grief's a pie. We all get a slice eventually. The retching stops. Silence stretches, not the desert's usual quiet, but the held breath before a verdict. The elder presses a salt-crusted date into your palm. Suck on this. Think of Russian czars paying their soldiers in sodium, 8 grams daily, kept their muskets rusty and their kvass flowing. Stars blur as your eyes adjust, or maybe it's the salt haze. The elder's voice softens. 2 million years from now, some sweaty-palmed creature will sip your fossilized sorrows. Hope they've got better chasers. Their laughter fades into night's fabric, threads unraveling toward unseen horizons. Moonlight etches the archway's serpents into silver filigree, their stone coils twisting toward a keystone carved like an open palm. You gesture half question, half accusation at the structure blending into cliffside shadows. The elder snorts. Tourists always gawk at that thing. Persians called it Dar-e-Del, the heart's door. Traders swore it led to Samarkand's spice markets, if approached sideways after camel milk wine. They scrape a thumbnail along weathered basalt. Ottoman engineers mimicked these arches in 100 desert forts, supposedly aligned with stars for navigation. Not my fault they kept getting lost. A scorpion skitters over the threshold, one moment entering, the next seeming to exit mid-step. You blink, the illusion fractures. The elder kicks dust at the arch. Archaeologists found 37 skeletons under a similar gate in Palmyra, facing both directions. Historians still argue whether they were guards or idiots who couldn't decide. Their chuckle rasps like flint on steel. Entrances confuse. Ever notice how malls trick you past Cinnabon into existential dread? Wind whistles through the arch, carrying a scent of burnt sage and diesel fumes. 12th century Sufis built these as humility tests. The elder mutters, "Step through expecting paradise. You'll trip into a donkey stable. Crave shade more than enlightenment. Turns into a palm grove." They spit. The globule hits both sides of the threshold simultaneously. Scholars think that's metaphor. Poor bastards. You shuffle closer, sand grating underfoot like stale breadcrumbs. The carvings writhe in peripheral vision, serpents flicking tongues at your earlobes, stone fingers twitching. Capua's gladiators painted exit signs with their own blood before rebellions. The elder says, "Smart move. Romans got lost chasing them through aqueducts." Never underestimate signage. A bat swoops through the arch, vanishes mid-flight. Your stomach growls. 3 hours since those salt-crusted dates. The elder nods toward the void. Some nights it's a door, others a mirror. Depends if you're running toward or away. Or they grin, "Just really need a bathroom." Dawn's first smear bleeds across the sky, the arch now a charcoal smudge. Carve your own damned doors, the elder yawns. But fair warning, every threshold you cross crosses you back. They toss a pebble through the opening. No sound follows, just the desert holding its breath, and your sweat cooling into salt. The child's palm hovers inches from yours, a locust corpse curled like a comma between life and whatever comes after. Its hind legs twitch involuntarily, carapace catching moonlight like cheap glitter. You freeze aware of the elder's gaze prickling your neck. "They've been at this since dawn," comes the raspy voice behind you. You'd think it's heavy. Yes, the dying. Cicadas thrum in the distance, syncopated heartbeat of the desert night. The elder circles feet, whispering through sand. Egyptian embalmers weighed hearts against Mad's feather. But who weighs the hand that holds the heart? They snap fingers near your ear. Your turn. But remember pharaohs buried servants with jeweled scarabs. Yet locust swarms ate Ramses, Ai's linen wraps clean. Death's funny that way. You extend a hand, hesitant. The child places the insect on your palm. Its antennae tremble, one wing half-cocked like a snapped cassette tape. The elder coughs, a sound like gravel in a blender. First question, did you love its final moment? Not the species, not the metaphor. This iridescent jerk, currently leaking hemolymph on your lifeline. Heat radiates through the locust's abdomen, 3 pulses, then none. You notice striations in its compound eyes, prismatic fractals, repeating into infinity. Alexandrian poets used locust blood as ink, the elder mutters. Wrote odes about lovers' spines, which crumbled by noon. But that's art parasites and hubris holding hands. A gust whirls sand around your ankles. The child giggles at your hesitation. The elder leans in kohl-rimmed eyes, suddenly serious. Second question, can you untether kindness from cruelty here? Because letting go isn't mercy if you're still clutching the idea of mercy. Your fingers stiffen, afraid to crush or drop. The elder sighs. Babylonian midwives recited star charts during births. Believed constellations shaped how tightly we grip. 93% of those babies became chronic overpackers. True story, their laughter rasps, a diesel engine refusing to start. Moths orbit the child's head, wing beats syncopated. In 1904, the elder continues. A Hungarian entomologist ate 17 locusts live to understand their song. He transcribed the clicks, then died of intestinal novelty. Historians still argue whether it counts as performance art. The locust's leg spasms again, autonomic last gasp. You blurt, should I bury it? The elder groans. Where? The ants. The hot wind. Your left pocket. All graves get raided eventually. They pluck the insect from your palm, licks it once, and flicks it eastward. 12th imams supposedly rode locust swarms during occultation. Google it. If you survive the ads, the child tugs your sleeve, points to where the carcass vanished. Something sparkles there, a shard of obsidian or maybe mica. The elder nods. We found beetle amulets in Saqqara graves, older than Moses, still warm to the touch. Turns out, even death needs comfort objects. Your palm feels sticky, ghost weight lingering. The elder wipes their hands on sun-bleached robes. Final lesson. Every ending feeds two hungers. The need to clutch and the itch to sanitize. Master neither, starve both. They gesture westward, dunes flexing like a sleeping ribcage. Your turn to ask the desert something worthwhile. Dawn bleeds across the horizon, the locust, now a silhouette in memory. You inhale, air sharp with sage and impending heat. The child skips away, humming a tune suspiciously like vuvuzela jazz. Heads up, warns the elder. Tiny deaths cling hardest, like sand in bedrolls or X's in Spotify playlists. The first sunbeam catches your still open palm empty, yet heavy. Somewhere beyond the dunes, a nightingale shrieks. You make a fist, feel invisible wings beat against your pulse. The elder smirks. Careful, stars die twice, once in the sky, and once in the fool who names them. Your finger traces a seam between stars, diagonal slash, bisecting the Milky Way's spill. Arm rigid, geometry student's perfect line. A calloused hand tilts your wrist. Suddenly, your pointer finger droops like a wilted reed. Dunes don't march in rows, chuckles the elder. Why should saints or sinners? Morning heat warps the horizon, mirage puddles shimmering where the elder points. Roman engineers built arrow-straight roads. Then camels ate the mile markers. To cross deserts, learn to meander. Their staff draws a wobbly path in sand. Ants promptly swarm the groove. Silk Road caravans zigzagged to avoid bandits and bad gin. Surviving meant embracing squiggles. You squint at your abandoned straight line, already erased by a breeze. The elder kicks off sandals, toes wriggling in grit. 19th century explorers got lost here because they trusted compasses over camel spit. Pro tip: dung beetles roll straighter than humans walk. A scarab clatters past its dung ball, wobbling like a drunk satellite. Ever seen sand sing? The elder stomps. A low thrum vibrates your molars. Happens when grains align just right. Quartz purity, slope angle, cosmic peer pressure. Lasts 90 seconds. Costs $8 in Nevada. They grin, gold-capped, molar flashing. Tourists think it's God humming sandy patty covers. Close enough. Your shadow stretches northwest, misshapen and blobby. The elder circles it with their staff. Persian astrolabes accounted for dune drift, calibrated with goat blood and existential dread. Still better than Google Maps. They jab at a rock formation, its curves mimicking your warped silhouette. Straight lines are toddler logic, demanding the universe sit still for your crayon. A lizard darts between your feet, path, a chaotic scribble. Eurymastix lizard, says the elder. Makes labyrinthine burrows to confuse sand vipers. Also excellent at improv theater. They yank your sleeve as you step back. Fixating on straight paths got Oedipus into trouble, and that guy had a prophecy cheat sheet. You glance at the reshaped dunes. Wind has smudged yesterday's landmarks. The elder spits, a practiced arc missing your left sandal by millimeters. Ever notice pilgrim paths coil around holy sites? Not laziness, spirals trick time. Walk one clockwise, you're 20 years younger by the center. Probably. Mica flakes glitter like discarded sequins. Bedouin folktales say stars sway in their orbits, drunk on celestial mead. Historians still argue whether Stonehenge's builders used spirals for ritual disorientation. The elder presses a date into your palm. Its wrinkled surface mimics your lifeline. Bite. Sweetness tastes straighter on a crooked tongue. A hot gust unravels your headscarf, fabric flapping like a trapped ghost. The elder grabs the loose end, twists it into a makeshift corkscrew. Giza's pyramids align with Orion's belt, but the Sphinx's paws point nowhere useful. Excellent metaphor for my first marriage. Their laugh rasps, a woodpecker on sheetrock. You kneel to retie your sandal, fingers fumbling the knot. The elder's shadow drapes over you, amorphous and vast. Posture check. Hunching won't flatten dunes, just your spinal discs. They toss a pebble sideways. It bounces erratically before vanishing. Straight away thinking birthed flash floods. Meandering streams survive dry seasons. Be water or whatever. I wasn't paying attention at the Bruce Lee seminar. Sunlight bleaches the eastern dunes, edges softening like wet sugar. The elder yawns, gold tooth dimming. Final tip: true north's a myth invented by insecure cartographers. Follow scarabs instead. They've had GPS in their asses for 70 million years. Your shadow sharpens, sun climbing. To the west, a dust devil spirals upward, chaotic and precise. The elder shades their eyes. Look, a desert tornado practicing cursive. thinks it's writing tomorrow's weather report. They nudge you toward the whirlwind. Go read it. Bring snacks. You take one step, sand shifts beneath your heel. The path ahead bends like a question mark. Somewhere behind you, the elder mutters to a passing vulture. Remind me tomorrow, lecture on the superiority of teardrop-shaped coffins. Heat licks your palms as a flatbread cracks open, steam tendrils curling like fingers from an unseen hand. The elder nods, their silhouette framed against a clay oven's glow. Watch how it splits clean, no knife needed. Damascus bakers discovered that trick during siege rations, 6th century. Wars improve recipes accidentally. You catch a whiff of charred barley, burnt edges, whispering of forgotten campfires. Every culture fights over bread symbolism. They say, dusting flour from their robe. Egyptians placed loaves in tombs, stale snacks for the afterlife. Israelites saw unleavened dough as panic made edible. Historians still argue whether Aztecs used maize cakes as tax currency or just really bad confetti. A scarab tumbles across the bread's surface, tiny legs peddling air. The elder flicks it off. Roman grain silos occasionally exploded, built up methane. 1st century workplace hazard. Imagine dying because your paychest was flammable. They tear the loaf, crust shattering like dry applause. Modern bakers add vinegar to prevent splitting. We Sufis, we bless the cracks. Let the void breathe. Dough blisters bubble, translucent and trembling. The elder pokes one with a stick. Joyce Kilmer wrote a poem about trees, wasted ink. Bread's the real miracle, grass seeds transformed by fire and fungus. Sacrilegious, tell that to a starving peasant. They blow on a steaming morsel, its heat shimmer warping their face. Eat, but don't chew yet, hold it. Let your spit dissolve the crust. Taste the impatience, the hurry, the we need this now of every baker since Pompeii. Millet grains cling to your teeth, gritty little time capsules. Medieval saints claimed fasting brought visions, the elder says, wiping their hands on their sash. Nonsense. Low blood sugar makes you see dinner plates floating. Trust me, I've haunted enough monasteries. They tap the oven's clay dome, a hollow thump echoing. This design's from Mosul, traps heat like a mother's sigh. Survival secret. Anything can be a womb if you let it transform you. A crumb drops into the fire, flaring blue as it ignites. Ever notice how bread kneading mirrors a heartbeat? The elder slaps dough onto a stone, thump slide thump, 2 pushes per second, same as a panicked sparrow's wings. Coincidence? Yes. Poetry? Also yes. Their palms work the lump veins pulsing like buried roots. Your great-great-grandmother did this motion, and her enemy's great-great-grandmother too. Hunger unites more than it divides. But no one wants that on a motivational poster. Wind gusts send embers swirling, a tiny constellation spiraling upward. The elder shields the dough with their body, a human parasol. Protect what's rising, even if it's not yours. Ottoman bakers had immunity during sieges. Smart policy. Wars end, but breakfast is eternal. They toss you a sesame seed cluster. It lands sticky side down in the sand. 5-second rule expired. Let the ants have it. They'll compose epic poems about this bounty. The loaf's final tier reveals a hollow center, gap-toothed grin in golden brown. The elder wedges their thumb inside. Persian mystics called this space colic, the empty that shaped the full. Pretentious. Maybe. Makes for killer sandwich philosophy, though. They lick char from their fingertips, smile widening. Your turn. Break it wrong, I'll know. You grip the edges, palms sweating. The elder leans close, their breath smelling of burnt rosemary. Remember, bread resists the desperate. Apply pressure like you're apologizing to a ghost. Crust flakes drift downward, landing in your lap like subpar snowfall. The elder collects them one by one. Waste not. Ancient Rome had bakers' guilds, fined members for dropping crumbs. Early OSHA meets carb fascism. They sprinkle the debris over hummus, creating a topographical map of guilt. Now, eat like someone who'll never see flour again. Bonus points if you weep. Salt improves the flavor. As you bite, the elder tears 3 more loaves, methodical and swift. Their hands never linger. French baguettes were originally Austrian, stolen by Napoleon's troops. Most conquests are just recipe theft with extra bloodshed. They pause, wrinkles deepening. That's the secret, really. Everything breaks, everyone steals, but the meal continues. Past the olives. The elder brushes olive pits aside, sand gritting under their palm, and produces an hourglass from their sleeve. Its glass bulbs glow faintly, not with sand inside, but what looks like powdered moonlight. Trick of the lensing, they murmur, tilting it sideways. 4th century Alexandrian glassblowers discovered this quartz blend mixes with moonlight at certain angles. Byzantine navigators used similar tricks until the patriarch called it heretical astronomy. You lean closer, neck prickling, as the elder flips the timer. Granules flow upward, defying gravity in a lazy spiral. Medieval scholars thought time moved like this, they say, tapping the glass. River flowing backward during Lent seasons, reversing for saints' feast days. Silly. Sure. More fun than Newton's equations. A particle hits the upper chamber, sending fractal patterns skittering across the glass. Mercury hourglasses existed too. Emperor Nero allegedly had one died before he could throw decent parties with it. Wind tugs at your robe, a dry whisper against your ankles. The elder cups the hourglass like a captured moth. Historian teams still fight over Egyptian tomb carvings. Are those hourglasses or beer jars? Answer matters only to tenured professors and drunk undergrads. They shake the device, gently particles now forming a miniature sandstorm. 2 kinds of people exist, those who watch the top bulb empty, and those obsessed with what's rising below. A grain escapes through a hairline crack, dancing in the air before vanishing. Roman water clocks kept better time, the elder shrugs, but they required slaves to refill them. Ever tried finding good help in the Sahara? Even camels unionize. They press the hourglass into your hands, its surface unnervingly warm. Feel how the pulse shifts. First-century poets claimed time had a heartbeat, conveniently matching their hangover rhythms. Moon dust swirls against your palms, tiny constellations coalescing and dissolving. Mongol messengers carried pocket sundials, the elder says, unwrapping a date cluster. Stupid idea during gallops, ended up noon cooking their mutton. At 3 p.m. barbecue innovations aside. Stick to stargazing. They spit a pit into the fire. It sizzles like a dying insect. Problem with time metaphors. They assume you're moving towards something. What if you're the fixed point and existence flows around you? You blink, the hourglass grains freeze mid-arc. Ah, there's the trick, the elder chuckles. Tilt your head left, squint, think of cinnamon. The particles surge upward again, a reverse waterfall. Persian mystics meditated on these for decades. Best case, transcendence. Worst case, crossed eyes and a stiff neck. They pluck a particle from the air, it dissolves on their fingertip. 99. 8% silica, 0. 2% delusion. Perfect ratio for revelation. Fire pops nearby, startling a desert hare into the shadows. The elder doesn't turn. Every hourglass contains exactly 5427 grains, they murmur. Not symbolically, actually. 14th century German monks counted. OCD, maybe. Now pass me that waterskin. You fumble the container, liquid sloshes over your wrist. Good. Spillage proves you're present. Buddha would have hated mindfulness apps. Too many push notifications. They upend the hourglass again, particles clumping like starved ants. Time isn't your enemy, just a poor scribe taking shaky notes. Ever seen Byzantine tax records? Chicken scratches soaked in wine stains. A jackal howls in the distance. The elder mimics it mockingly. Wolves track time by hunger, eagles by thermals, humans by regrets. Birthright of having opposable thumbs, I guess. You flex your fingers, still tingling from the hourglass's heat. Industrial Revolution clocks, worst invention since Trojan horses, the elder snorts. Same gears that wound up watches wound down village siestas. Progress is a treadmill greased with your sweat. They snatch back the device, particles scatter like startled minnows. Permanence is a lie told by mountains and bad architects. Even pyramids crumble there, just taking century-long breaths. Your eyes ache from tracking the upward stream. The elder notices. 2 blinks reset the metaphor, they advise. Ancient trick, Babylonian priests used it during eclipse panics. Works better than screaming, marginally. Moonlight bleaches their features into a parchment mask. Your turn. Ask it a question, but phrase it sideways. You hesitate, tongue thick with dried figs. Why does it pour up? Wrong angle. They smack the hourglass's base, Particles cascade normally for 3 seconds before reversing. First rule of temporal physics. Gravity's a suggestion after midnight. The glass fogs where their breath hits it. Meister Eckhart wrote about boiling time like soup, then forgot to turn off the stove. Burned down half his monastery. Moral: don't trust mystics in kitchens. A particle lands on your eyelash, the world fractures into prismatic shards. Careful, the elder whispers. Stare too long, and you'll start seeing deadlines as imaginary. Dangerous thinking for tax season. They pocket the hourglass, its imprint visible through the fabric, like a glowing tumor. French revolutionaries tried metric time, 10-hour days, 100-minute hours. Failed faster than a sober Dionysus. Turns out humans like uneven numbers. Reminds them of their own lumpy souls. Firelight dims, dawn's indigo bleeding from the east. The elder groans, stretching creaky limbs. Chronos is a clingy lover, always whispering later in your ear. Me. They kick sand over the embers. I prefer flings with nanoseconds here and gone before the guilt sets in. You stand knees popping like desiccated wood. The elder grins, reading your face. Yes, yes, youth is wasted on the old. But arthritis, underrated teachers. Now go trip over a dune, sun's rising, and my bladder's not eternal. A final grain glints in the elder's palm. They blow it into your shadow. That one's from the Cretaceous period. Allegedly. Fossilized plankton or a pigeon's lunch. Believe whichever helps you sleep. Dawn bleeds peach across the dunes. The fire reduced to ash freckles when a student snorts at the horizon. Death's just God's way of telling you to reshelve, but my library's overdue forever. Too loud laughter ripples through the circle. The elder's shadow stretches toward the joker, long fingers brushing his sandals. Tombs hold 2 treasures, they rasp. Gold that rots and jokes carved in air. Guess which pharaohs clutch tightest. You squint. Another student mimes a mummy's shambling walk, bandage arms flapping. The elder doesn't smile. Ramses II's mummifiers left his laugh muscles intact. 70-day preservation ritual. All so he could smirk at eternity. Check Cairo Museum photos, corner of his mouth. Pure sarcasm. A gust swirls ash into dust devils. The elder snatches one mid-spin, crushing it in their fist. 18th dynasty. Grave robbers wrote jokes on tomb walls. Why did the pharaoh cross the Jewett? To get to the other side. Bad puns, but they outlived empires. Someone mutters about disrespect. The elder whirls linen robes hissing. Disrespect's a modern allergy. Old kingdom builders etched memes into pyramid stones. Farting camels. Ostrich scepters as a marital aids. Archaeologists found one last year. Red-faced translators called it ritual object. Dawn light glints off a vial around the elder's neck, obsidian carved into a laughing jackal. Historians still argue whether tomb laughter was sacramental or subversive. Same debate, different century. How's your outrage holding up? The joker quiets, kneading sand between tense fingers. The elder softens. Cheops' overseer scribbled complaints in mortar pits. 5th year of digging. Wife left me Pharaoh, still obsessed with right angles. Imagine him chuckling as the 50th sandstone block squashed his foot. A beetle trundles past iridescent shell, catching the light. The elder blocks its path with a palm. Persian satraps sent insult-laced papyri to Memphis. Kings paid extra to have them mummified enemies preserved in their own pettiness. Genius, really. Grudge crafting elevated to art. You flex your toes. Cool sand now. Dawn's warmth still timid. The elder kicks the dead fire. Ever seen a mummy's CT scan? Bioarchaeologists found 14 dates in Amenhotep's colon. Man died, constipated, on his favorite snack. Mortality's punchline. You literally become what you eat. Groans mix with reluctant chuckles. The elder clicks their tongue. Horemheb's sarcophagus had a chatty Ushabti figurine. Translated, yes, O luminous one, another 12 hours of praise. My enthusiasm's fermenting. Even the grave couldn't stifle eye rolls. Sunlight crests the dunes, washing the elder's wrinkles in gold. They pluck a dried fig from their sleeve, bite half, offer you the rest. British Museum keeps a curse tablet from Deir el Medina. Not a curse, just a worker's doodle of his foreman as a flatulent hippo. Outlasted the poor sod's entire lineage. The circle stirs, robes rustling like papyrus sheets. The elder spins suddenly, facing the silenced joker. Know why soaped Neferu's statues grin. Crocodile tears, literally. Priestesses fed sacred, reptiles honey cakes, until they vomited festival punchline. Tragic, sure. Still funnier than Roman vomitoriums. Your shadow stretches west, already a hand's length shorter. The elder flicks a beetle onto its back, legs wriggling. Laughter's the scarab rolling dung uphill, while the gods bet on the outcome. Eternal joke, you're the beetle and the dung, and the laughing god. 3-for-1 cosmic gag. They stride into the light, silhouette dissolving into glare. Last lesson, Thutmose III's coronation involved a stand-up routine. 10 priests dressed as Bess. Did pratfalls with ceremonial anvils. Historians call it cultic slapstick. I call it blooper reels for the afterlife. The circle disperses, footprints scribbling secrets in the sand. The elder remains, a ragged sentinel, watching the sunrise. Pharaohs forgot their own names. They murmur, too soft for anyone but you. But a Bedouin joke from 2000 BCE still passed around campfires. Punchline outlives the joker. Ashes outlast the crown. A single laugh barks behind you, the chastised student, kicking over a sandpile. It collapses into something resembling a falcon. The elder doesn't turn. There's your answer. Build pyramids or kick dirt. Both crumble. Only the snort survives. Heat shimmers promise mirages on the eastern dunes. The elder licks fig residue from their thumb. Final exam. Die well, but but die amusingly. Underworld bards need better material. The elder's fig-sticky hand grips your elbow, steering you toward a weathered cedar chest. Sand cascades from its lid as they pry it open. Inside glints a slab of volcanic glass, edges jagged, surface swallowing the dawn. Aztec priests scried futures in these, they mutter. Cortés stole 6. This one's a reproduction. Netflix History Special got 3 facts wrong about it. Probably used glitter paint. You lean closer, your reflection warps into a stranger's face. Cheeks elongate. Eyes sink into shadow nests. The elder flicks the glass. Funny, right? Tech bros pay thousands for black mirrors now. Same panic their great-great-grandpas felt seeing photos. Vanities, just fear wearing lipstick. A hot wind whips through camp. Your distorted visage shivers like oil on water. The elder presses a thumb to the glass. Mistec kings, embedded mirror shards in statues' eye sockets, ghosts supposedly gagged on their own reflections. Quack archaeologists tried this in 1923, accidentally summoned a rather polite hedgehog demon. Or so the journals claim. Someone snickers behind you. The elder doesn't turn. Laugh while you can. 12 minutes staring at this, even your mom's face would unravel. It's like a Rorschach test curated by a caffeinated squirrel. You blink, your reflection's mouth keeps moving after yours stops. The elder chuckles. Obsidian doesn't care about your dental hygiene. Speaks the same truth babble as funhouse mirrors, minus the carnival musk. Historians still argue whether these were ritual tools or ancient therapy devices. Same difference. Both make you question poor life choices. A bead of sweat slides down your neck. The mirror drinks it, ripples distorting your torso into a wavering hourglass. Ever seen those Byzantine mosaic portraits? The elder wipes dust from the glass. Eyes follow you because artists used real silver-backed glass. Cheap trick, but emperors loved the living gaze effect. Modern equivalent. Instagram story stalking. Your knees protest the crouch. The elder tusks. Tezcatlipoca's worshippers called this stone smoke mirror. Not for selfies, for dissolving egos. Think of it as psychedelics for the vain. No hangover, just existential vertigo. A goat bleats in the distance, sound stretched thin by heat. The elder tilts the slab sideways. Your face splinters into cubist fragments. 16th century alchemists ground obsidian into truth serum powder. Results: 8% visions, 92% lethal diarrhea. Mortality's favorite punchline: enemas as enlightenment. You recoil. The elder smirks. Relax. This one's sterile. Mostly, they drag a fingernail across the surface, a screech like chalk on bone. Notice how the longer you look, the less you become. Good. Masks hate direct eye contact. Shadows pool in your reflection's hollows, cheekbones sharpening into blades. The elder's voice drops. 99 faces you've worn, good daughter, cunning lover, wounded poet. mirrors hungry for all of them. But that flicker underneath, a cloud blots the sun. For half a breath, the glass goes pure black, your outline erased. There, saw it, didn't you? The face before your first scream, after your last lie. The goat bleats again, closer now. The elder slams the chest shut. Sand puffs upward. Pro tip, never gift an obsidian mirror to your therapist. They'll charge triple and still mispronounce Quetzalcoatl. Camp noises seep back, rustling tarps, a kettle's whistle. Your fingers itch to reopen the chest. The elder kicks it. Nope, lesson's done. Go stare at a puddle, or your lover's pupils, or the back of a spoon. Truth's a roach, survives anywhere. They stride toward the boiling kettle, obsidian necklace winking in the light. Your shadow stretches eastward, jagged at the edges, dissolving at the knees. A student mutters about migraines. The elder pours steaming mint tea into cracked cups. Ever notice how smoke mirrors and conspiracy theories work the same? Both show what you're already choking on. You sip the tea, burning your tongue, swallowing the sting. The elder licks spilled drops from their wrist. That face you glimpsed. It's why babies laugh at ceilings and old men weep at sunsets. Doesn't need a name, just enough space to yawn awake. A shimmering lizard darts over the chest, lid pausing as if listening. The elder flicks a date pit at it. Mirrors empty now, but check tonight's dream, you'll find it's been following you. Patient thing, waits centuries for one good punchline. The goat trots into camp, nudging the chest with its horns. Your reflection fogs the polished surface, just for a breath before sand reclaims it. The elder's calloused palm slaps your diaphragm, muting the 95th name in your throat. Alma hears not a mantra for rent checks, they chide. Your uvula aches from divine syllables, each one heavier than a grand piano in a studio apartment. Historians still argue whether 13th century Sufis chanted to reach God, or just to drown out particularly chatty camels. Someone hands you bitter tea in a chipped cup, steam curling like a question mark. The elder snaps their fingers thrice. Let's try losing your voice instead. Monks in old Malacca used to hum themselves mute. Best insomnia cure before NY quill. Your vocal cords itch, betrayed by their own uselessness. A moth bumbles into the firelight, wing beats ticking like a watch strapped to a hummingbird. The elder pinches your earlobe. Count its flaps. 10, 20. Doesn't matter. Your tongue's a noisy neighbor, evicted. You try whispering Al-Latif. The name catches on your molars like popcorn husks. They cluck their tongue. Ever seen Ottoman prayer beads? 900 knots, dipped in honey and self-importance. Silk Road traders used them as cough drops. True story. Your pharynx vows revenge. The moth lands on your knee, antennae quivering. 5 dynasties fell because emperors wouldn't shut up. The elder flicks your Adam's apple. Your turn. You mouth the next name, no air, no sound. The moth swings still. Silence isn't empty, it's carbonated. Your eardrums throb with the scrub's secret gossip, roots plotting, sand debating retirement. The elder grins. Better. Real prayers happen when your voice quits eavesdropping. A shooting star scars the sky, half a second gone. You try to point, they swat your hand. Desert's full of show-offs. Focus on what doesn't beg for applause. Your larynx stages a protest, a dry click, a pathetic wheeze. The elder pours tea over your fingers. London's British Museum has a 16th century silence chair. Iron clamps, leather straps, whole ordeal. Tourists think it's medieval dentistry. The moth takes flight, its shadow writes cursive on your palm. You exhale through your nose, a sound like wet kindling. The elder nods. There's the ticket. Even Hitler's speeches had more humility than your lousy whisper. Discretionary laughter ripples through the circle. Your uvula files a formal complaint. Stars smear across the sky time-lapse, footage missing a charger. The elder presses their thumb to your windpipe. Feel that flutter? That's your ego's last stand. Let it starve. The moth returns dusted in constellations. Its wings could be measuring your lifespan. They lean closer, mint and rancid, goat milk on their breath. 90% of Ottoman love poems weren't destroyed by wars, just mediocre poets overcompensating. Your esophagus stages a mutiny. The moth alights on your collarbone, a whisper in wing fabric. Don't move. The elder's voice softens. 7 seconds. That's how long silence takes to become sacred. Crusaders missed this trick, brought trumpets instead. Your carotid artery charts escape roots. The moth's antennae taste your sweat, salty hieroglyphs. Your pulse slows, a drummer nodding off mid-beat. The elder withdraws. Back in 8, a Texan paid $3,000 to circumcise his vocal cords. True enlightenment. He just writes angry Yelp reviews now. The moth pirouettes tracing the shape of your absent words. They toss a pebble into the dark. It answers with a thud, then a scorpion's annoyed rattle. Hear that? Life goes on without your commentary. 8 billion people, and not one needs your hot take on fig harvests. Your throat burns a desert in reverse. The moth grazes your cheek, paper kiss. The elder yawns. Check the mirror later. Your reflection's been mouthing thank you this whole time. Fire pops. An ember lands between you. The elder crushes it barefoot. Ever notice how libraries smell like unspoken secrets? Your vocal cords could use that musk. Dawn bleeds at the horizon, light stuttering through acacia thorns. The moth dissolves into the pale. Your tongue lies limp, happy corpse. The elder tousles your hair, rough affection. There's a reason we're born screaming. Lets us appreciate the quiet when it finally comes. A jackal howls miles off. Your breath sinks to its rhythm. The elder smirks. Congrats. You've perfected the only spiritual exercise that doesn't cause hemorrhoids. Your pinky finger twitches. Morse code for surrender. The circle disperses. Some truths aren't spoken there, the silence between two snores. Wind combs the dunes, borrowing your unused breath to whistle an old lullaby. Dawn bleeds into midday glare, your shadow pooling like spilled ink at your feet. A girl tugs your sleeve, maybe 8 summers old, her palms cradling a clay disc. Charcoal craters, pocket surface, a child's moon etched with stubborn pride. Hold it like this, she whispers, fingers positioning yours around the edges. Cold clay sucks heat from your skin. The elder materializes behind you, dates and cumin on their breath. Little Aisha's been gripping that since first light. Notice how her wrists don't shake. You try nodding, your neck creaks like unoiled hinges. The disc weighs less than your phone, heavier than your last apology to mom. Aisha beams, gap-toothed and sunburned. Grandmother says the moon's a ladder rung. Step on it, climb to where God stores quiet. Historians still argue whether Babylonian lunar priests tracked fertility cycles or just really loved moonlit picnics. The elder snorts. Scholars, always missing the point. That disc's not a symbol, it's a muscle. You adjust your grip, clay grainy against calluses. The elder flicks the disc's edge. Ping. 19th century zookeepers thought giraffes were silent. Turns out they hum at night, supersonic lullabies. Same frequency as Buddhist throat singing. Aisha giggles, her laughter loops around your spine like kite string. Why's it so cold? You rasp. The elder plucks a date pit from their beard. Persian astrolabe makers stored clay in ice caves, shrank the pores. Made star maps last centuries, unlike their marriages. Aisha's thumb rubs a crater worn smooth as a worry stone. Your forearm tremors begin, micro-earthquakes in the meat between elbow and ambition. The elder leans close. Medieval nuns carried moonstones to bed, claimed they got warmer during eclipses. Vatican called it heresy until the stones started glowing. Aisha's still grinning, no sign of strain. Brass bells jingle in the distance, a caravan cresting the dune. The elder shields their eyes. Cleopatra, yeah. That one wore moonstone pendants to treaties. Not for magic, just to remind men she outshone their petty kingdoms. Your bicep howls. The disc now feels like a manhole cover. Aisha pokes your quivering triceps. You think too much with this arm. Use the other one. She switches the disc to your left hand. Instant relief. The elder chuckles. 16th century surgeons believed the left arm housed the soul. Hence, all those right-handed duelists dying of existential wounds. Wind sculpts the dunes anew, erasing yesterday's footprints. The disc warms slowly, baking in your palm's sweat. What's the trick? You ask, voice thin as mirage haze. Aisha spins in circles, her shadow, a wobbly sundial. The elder squats, stick sketching Orion in the sand. Muscles are liars. They scream, drop it, when the heart says, hold fast. Ever seen those Tibetan monks carrying boulders uphill? Secrets not in the back, it's here. They tap your sternum, a hollow thunk. Your left arm tenses, betrayed by its own anatomy. How long? You gasp. The elder grabs your wrist, fingers pressing radial pulse points. French neurologist Charcot proved cramps are 90% panic, 10% whining. Guess which part you're feeding. Aisha stops mid-spin, dizzy but radiant. I dropped it once, 3 days ago. Know what happened? She leans in, stage whispering. The moon ate 7 scorpions, spit out a silver dirham. The elder rolls eyes. Don't encourage her. Last time, she convinced tourists the dunes were dinosaur dandruff. You grimace, shoulder ablaze. The disc slips fractionally. Easy, murmurs the elder. Ottoman artillerymen hauled cannons uphill using breath tricks. Inhale through the wound, exhale through the dream. Your lungs hitch, ribs expanding like bellows. Aisha plucks a thorn from her heel, blood freckling the sand. Pain's just the moon's way of hugging your bones. The elder nods. Kids wiser than Hafez on a good day. Speaking of which, they nod at your arm. Muscles melt, suddenly burn, giving way to eerie calm. The disc floats in your grip, weightless as a promise. Aisha claps. Now you're singing. The elder winks. Took you long enough. Mosul's clay workers have a saying. The vessel shapes the hands as much as the hands shape the vessel. Heat shimmers warp the horizon. The caravan, now a string of mirage pearls. Aisha skips toward them, disc forgotten in your custody. The elder flicks your ear. Lessons not about endurance. It's about why you're holding on. That disc could have been a baby, a grudge, a 6-pack of expired hummus. You laugh, startling a lizard into the scrub. Clay warms your palm, symbiotic now. The elder licks parched lips. 90% of archaeology digs miss the good stuff. Why? They throw away the ordinary clay shards where real stories live. Shadows stretch, long day bleeding into amber. Your arm hasn't moved, or has it? The disc feels grafted to your flesh. Aisha returns, cheeks dusted with carried laughter. Keep it, she says. Grandmother says I need to practice with bigger moons. The elder grunts, rising stiffly. One condition, when it gets heavy again, and it will remember today. Not the pain, but the moment you stopped counting seconds. They limp toward the caravan, bell jingling, fading into wind song. You cradle the clay moon, its craters mapping unknown worlds. A scarab crawls over your sandal, armor gleaming blue-black. Some burdens grow lighter the longer you carry them. Others turn into wings. Wind herds the last daylight over dunes, 3 peaks converging where you stand. Shadows stretch toward east, west, and the aching unknown between. A snapped twig cracks the silence, the elder's knotted hands breaking a dry branch. All choices break something. They say, tossing halves into the sand, even staying still. Your souls sink deeper, buried to the ankles now. One dune ripples with night-blooming flowers. Another bristles with jagged flint. The third shimmers, mica flecks pretending to be water. Historians still argue whether the lost army of Cambyses chose death by sandstorm or cannibalized themselves near this very spot. The elder spits dates and disdain. Men love making myths of bad decisions. A scarab scuttles past, its dung ball perfectly spherical. know why they push those. The elder prods the beetle with a toe. Ottoman engineers copied their design for cannonballs. Less wobble midair. Still lost Vienna. You chuckle. The sound gets swallowed by the desolate expanse. Wind hisses through your shirt, a poor substitute for wisdom. The elder kicks flint-strewn sand. 16th century mapmakers drew sea monsters here, not scared of the unknown, just bored by blank spaces. They gesture to the 3 dunes. Pick your monster. Your right foot twitches east toward the flowers. Ah, the perfume path, murmurs the elder. Mamluk nobles imported jasmine ice for tent floors, melted by noon. But oh, that first hour, your left heel grinds west, flint crunching. The blade road, where Bedouin smiths tempered swords in sandstorms, made steel sing. The 3rd dune taunts, its false like glinting. Illusion's gate, says the elder, 90% of desert mirages show oases. 10% show what you threw away. They scratch their neck nails, leaving red trails. Berber caravans used to pay shadow tolls, leaving salt piles for the ghosts of merchants who starved here. Breath hitches in your throat, 3 futures nipping at your pulse. The elder snaps, another twig, sharp report echoing. Argentinian ranchers have a saying, every fence post is a monument to something wild killed. Doesn't matter if you build or burn it. Moonflower buds creak open petals, whispering against your shins. The eastern slope sighs with nectar. Westward, flint shards catch Mongol, edge-winking conspirators. That 3rd dune's mirage pulses could almost be real. The elder bends, plucks something from your shadow. A locust shell, brittle and translucent. Know why these cling after molting. Reminder that survival's just a series of abandoned skins. They crush the husk, powder sifting through fingers. Walk, stay, either way, you'll leave something behind. Muscles tense, body becoming its own argument. The elder steps back, sand filling their footprints. Instantly, Cleopatra fled through dunes like these after Actium. Left a wig and a perfume vial in her wake. Plutarch wrote they smelled like defeat and lotus. Pompous twit. You inhale, air sharp with alkali and indecision. 12 heartbeats pass. 13, 14. The elder groans impatient. Spanish missionaries thought scorpions guarded hell's gates. Wore lead amulets, which gave them seizures. Divine irony, if you ask me. A nightjar's cry stitches the dark, a mechanical chirr from the flint dune. The flowers rustle, or is that fabric? Your nape prickles someone's breath. No, just the wind. Always the wind. The elder checks a star cluster, wrist tilting like a sundial. Timbuktu scholars mapped 12 desert paths using Venus. All routes gone now, erased by traders who preferred shortcuts. They bark a laugh, phlegmy and abrupt. Shortcuts, another word for graves. Your knees unlock, body drifting east. Petals brush your shins. The elder nods. Go get trampled by metaphors. 3 steps in, the ground softens, dune devouring your feet faster. Panic flutters. Westward flint glares. Walk there and bleed, but move. Center mica winks. Walk there and thirst, but hope. Ever seen a Saharan frost? The elder's voice spirals from behind, covers the sand in diamond crust, gone by dawn. Some choices are like that, all shine, no substance. You freeze, suspended between paths. The elder sighs. Stand there long enough, and they'll build a shrine to your indecision. Arabs used to worship meteorites, rocks that chose exactly where to fall. Something howls, maybe wind, maybe wolf. The eastern flowers shrivel suddenly, petals curling like burnt paper. Your throat tightens. 15th century alchemists drank sand, mutters the elder. Thought it'd make their bowels forge gold. All they got was rage and rectal tears. A pebble skitters down the flint dune, clicks like a Geiger counter. Your shadow stretches forks, becomes 3 silhouettes pointing different ways. The elder clicks their tongue. Persian poets called this the Nask moment, when life rewrites itself between breaths. But poets romanticize toothaches too. Left foot lifts, hungry for resolution. The snapped twig have stir, rise, spin in a dust devil. Gravel sprays your face. Eyes squeeze shut. When they open, you're walking. Doesn't matter where. The elder's chuckle follows, fainter now. There's the rub. Every step creates 2 unwalked paths. Walk far enough, and they'll call you lost. Walk further, they'll call you explorer. Same difference. Moonlight puddles in your footsteps, quickly stolen by the desert's thirst. You touch the clay disk in your pocket, Asia's moon, still cool. Ahead only darkness and the terrible gift of distance. The desert breathes, and you breathe with it. Moonlight snags on something ahead, a low shrub studded with hooked barbs. Each thorn wears a glassy sheen like frozen venom. Your sleeve catches as you pass, fiber popping threads. Careful, mutters a student behind you. Those bite back. Too late, your thumb finds a spine. A bead of blood swells crimson on cracked skin. Ah, the singing bush. The elder shuffles closer, robe whispering against thorns. 4th century physicians soaked crucifixion spikes in wine as anesthesia. Worked better than prayers, worse than opium. Their finger hovers over your wound. Now listen. Silence, then a faint hum. The plucked thorn vibrates in your grip, resonating like a tuning fork. Other spines quiver in sympathy, harmonic whispers threading the air. The elder nods. Madagascar's whistling acacia hums when wind stirs its spines. These here, they prefer blood. A student groans, clutching their pricked palm. Great, vegetarian mosquitoes. The elder plucks another thorn, drawing no blood this time. Stillness, see. No song without sacrifice. Persian poets called pain. The lute string tightened till it weeps music. They flick the dry spine away. Historians still argue whether Cleopatra's siren ointment used crushed desert thorns or just crushed egos. Your thumb throbs in time with the shrub's drone. Is this poison? Only if you believe suffering's toxic. The elder smears your blood across a flat rock, streaks glistening black in the moonlight. Sufis in Mali played thorn harps during initiations. Hit the right note, and scorpions would dance. Miss it? Well, they wipe their hand on their sleeve. Explains their short lifespans. Wind gusts, thorns erupt in discordant chorales. A student covers their ears. Sounds like dying cats. Better than your Zabiha impression last Eid, snaps another. The elder silences them with a glare. Ottoman minarets copied thorn patterns in their iron grills, scaring birds with ultrasonic hums, worked till pigeons evolved to shit in tune. They yank a spine-free branch, snapping it clean. Everything sings when broken right. Even you. You press your injured thumb to the sand, leaving rusty asterisks. The elder tusks, wasting ink, each drops a verse. They upturn a water skin over the shrub, liquid gulped by thirsty roots. Thorns plump hum deepening to a cello's groan. A student sways, hypnotized. What's it saying? Same thing your mom told you, deadpans the elder. Wash behind your ears. Laughter ripples, nervous, swiftly silenced. The shrub's song shifts, notes now gliding like a muezzin's cry. Your pulse sinks to its rhythm. Pain fades or forgets itself. The elder watches you through slitted eyes. 12th century mystics bled themselves onto war drums. Said it made peace anthems catch faster. Mostly caught infections. A student prods the shrub, flinching when it sings. Does it like being hurt? Does a drum, like's not the word, is. The elder palms a cluster of thorns, squeezes till their own blood wells. The hum swells, multi-throated and mournful. Your pain's not yours alone. The desert collects it, brews it into lullabies for the next fool with soft hands. You touch another thorn, gentler this time. No sting, just a faint tremor against skin. The elder grunts. Careful. Some get addicted to the choir. Overhead, stars pulse like old wounds. Someone sighs, long and shuddering. The shrub's song cradles the sound, folds it into the melody. Bedouin brides wore thorn bracelets, murmurs the elder. Every scratch sang their vows. Divorces, silence for 40 nights. Historians found 7 tombs, skeletons still humming. A bead of sweat traces your spine. The elder's bleeding hand grips your shoulder, warm and sticky. Listen, the best songs don't need ears, just scars. Thorn music swells, filling the space between stars. Your thumb's flutter becomes a drumbeat. Beneath your feet, the desert holds its breath. A mangy mutt blocks your path, fur matted into dirty ropes. It snarls at empty air, teeth gleaming like cracked porcelain. You sidestep. The dog lunges sideways, still guarding nothing. Typical, drawls the elder. Jackals won't touch a well-guarded void. Fear of absence, sharper than any fang. They toss a goat femur into the dark. It arcs past the dog's left ear. The mutt ignores it, still fixated on the blank stretch of sand. A student snickers, guard dog of the invisible caliphate. Anubis handled this better, mutters another. The elder kicks dust at the animal. It doesn't flinch. Ancient Egyptians mummified greyhounds with pharaohs, named them abotio, barks at shadows. They crouch, eye level, with the dog's matted snout. This one's ancestors guarded Cleopatra's perfume vaults, smelled like roses and wet despair. You kneel, the mutt's growl vibrates your kneecaps. Its breath reeks of rotting figs. The elder grabs your wrist, guides your hand toward the guarded emptiness. Touch it. There's nothing exactly. Your fingers graze hot sand. The dog goes rigid, a whine escaping its throat. The elder smirks. Ottoman spice merchants paid fools to guard empty chests. Made rivals think they'd already sold the saffron. Psychological warfare with fleas. A breeze stirs, the mutt's hackles rise. Its obsession isn't the emptiness, but the edge of it. The elder traces a line in the sand with their staff. See, dogs guard thresholds. This one's post is the moment before choice. They snap their fingers. The mutt finally grabs the discarded bone. Historians still argue whether Anubis guided souls or just really liked funeral processions. The dog trots off, bone clamped in jaws. Where it stood, the sand shimmers faintly. You reach out, your fingertips buzz like hornet wings. What? Residue, says the elder. Every guarded absence leaves a stain. Lalibella's priests defended empty chapels for centuries. Pilgrims swore they heard him echoes, turned out to be wet bats in caves. A student pokes the shimmering patch, yanks their hand back. Feels like static. Feels like you're 12, mutters their neighbor, touching everything. The elder sighs. Persian warlords buried hollow coffins to fake their deaths. One guy's ghost started a whole rebellion. His tomb, just a drunk goat herder belching into a cistern. They rub the shimmering sand between thumb and forefinger. Guard an illusion long enough, it grows teeth. Moonlight warps around the vacant space, casting twin shadows from a single rock. The elder nudges you forward. Stand in it. The air thickens, not quite pressure, not quite chill. Your ears pop. Somewhere, a drum pulses once. The elder studies you like a misplaced chess piece. Mamluk assassins trained by staring at blank walls. 3 months in, they'd see threats in dust motes. 6 months, they'd see their own eyelashes as enemies. Did it work? They either became legend or scooped their eyes out with spoons. No middle ground. The mutt reappears, dropping the gnawed bone at your feet. The elder chuckles. Ah, promotion. You're the guardian now. They kick the bone into the shimmer. It vanishes midair. The dog yelps, then resumes growling at nothingness. But why guard what isn't there? Why do you blink? The elder turns toward camp, robes swirling. Absence needs protecting more than gold. No one steals a shadow, but lose yours. Whole religions collapse. You glance down, your shadow stretches intact. The guarded patch of sand lies quiet now. The mutt licks its paws, mission forgotten. Or transferred. Stars wheel overhead. The elder's voice drifts back. Bedouins say Allah made voids first. Everything else, just filler. A scorpion scuttles across the once shimmering sand. you half expect it to dissolve. It doesn't. The desert exhales a hot, dog breath sigh. The desert exhales a hot, dog breath sigh when the first lightning licks the eastern dunes. Not the fat purple bolts of monsoon season, these flicker sideways. The elder tugs your sleeve without turning. Sit. Storms walking on its hands tonight. Sand grains levitate, dancing ankle-high, as the elder pours water into a shallow bowl. You watch droplets hang midair, then slide up the clay rim. Persian engineers built underground canals, qanats, that defied gravity, carried mountain snow to desert cities. Water's got memory, and occasionally attitude. A hot wind slaps your face. It smells of burnt cinnamon. The elder upturns the bowl. Water crawls spider-like across the underside. 7 centuries back, Cairo had a rainless flood. Nile rose while clouds fled south. Farmers wept at dry fields. Fish swam through cellar air. You reach for the rebellious water. Your fingers meet only steam. A student scoffs. Fata Morgana, heat mirage. Fata Morgana wore silk slippers, counters the elder. This wears jackal teeth. Feel your scalp. You touch your hair, strands stand rigor mortis straight. The horizon pulses, not with light, but patches of deeper dark. Phantom lakes plague Saharan travelers. They're not illusions, just rain's deathbed self-portraits. Dip your foot in, you'll get degree nostalgia burns. The elder spreads their hands, palm up, priest of nothing posture. Bedouin call this mot al-matter when rain dies before hitting ground. Souls get tangled in downdrafts, makes cranky ghosts. Thunder growls, a sound like granite doors grinding shut. The elder grins. Ottoman meteorologists tied scribes to kites during storms. Called it sky dictation. Most parchments just said AAHHHH in very fancy script. Lightning forks downward, then spasms upward. The elder nods. Ah, there's our rebel. You realize each strike arcs from the dunes. Sand explodes skyward, incandescent spears hurled at the clouds. The elder cups their ear. Listen, hear the conflict. Between thunderclaps, a faint hiss. Not water on hot stones, but stone itself exhaling. Basalt vesicles, murmurs the elder. Little air pockets from when this rock was liquid fire. They've been holding their breath since Mesopotamia had dial-up internet. A pebble bounces off your sandal, moving upward. Then another. Soon it's raining gravel in reverse. A student yelps as a date pit pings their forehead. This why you made us wear turbans. Told you it wasn't fashion, says the elder. They pluck a flying pebble mid-ascent, press it to your palm. The stone thrums like a swallowed scream. Limestone quarried here built Alexandria's library. Aristotle probably rolled in his grave, while this pebble was still magma. The storm bellows, a sound that straddles lion and locomotive. 2 realities flicker dunes below, inverted dunes above. Your feet lift an inch, then slam back down. The elder steadies you. Gravity's just a suggestion here, like diet plans or monogamy. They point to a wobbling boulder, rising like a rotten tooth pulled skyward. That's Haran's missing obelisk. Crusaders thought it was Solomon's compass needle. Really? 3rd century fertility symbol. Fertile imaginations, those crusaders. A warm droplet hits your neck. Then another. You look up, rain falls upward, each pearl-sized breach of physics. The elder licks their arm, catching a rogue drop. Souls taste like rosemary and bad decisions. Don't ask. The ground shudders, stone platelets underfoot clicking like mahjong tiles. A fissure opens, swallowing reverse rain. The elder crouches, shouting over the din. Ayyubid miners followed quakes to gold veins, found mostly scorpion nests, and one very confused mole king. Lightning forks into the fissure, illuminating strata like cake layers. A shape glints smooth and curved. Roman aqueduct segment, yells the elder. Carved by lazy engineers, siege engines folded into origami swans later. Historians still argue whether it was art or sarcasm. The storm falters, up raindrops freeze mid-ascent. Your ears pop again. The elder sighs. Ah, mercy's getting stage fright. They press both palms to the vibrating ground. Dar al-Hayat's springs were reburied during the Black Death. Villagers thought water spread the plague. Their ghosts still cough in the aquifers. A final bolt strikes silent and white, etching shadow puppet cities on the dunes. Then stillness. The elder plucks a pebble from your hair, drops it. It falls up. Persian geometers wrote about reverse waterfalls. Got exiled for upsetting cosmic humility. Just jealous librarians, probably. Your shadow stretches upward. The elder prods your calf. Walking stick. Now, before gravity notices, you obey crustal plates murmuring underfoot. The student behind you yelps. Their left sandal floats 5 feet overhead. It's mocking me. Nike's first anti-gravity prototype deadpans the elder. Just jump 10 feet. Catch it. Existential parable awaits. Moonlight returns slanted and sheepish. The uprain hangs suspended, a billion liquid chandelier crystals. The elder hums, a tune that makes your molars ache. Kabbalists claim angels buried inverted storms under Jerusalem. Construction crews keep hitting them. All the cranes end up praying toward Mecca. You glance back. The storm's residue glows faintly, framing a single defiant palm tree. Its fronds point down. The elder follows your gaze. Ah, proof Mona Lisa vacationed here. Leonardo drew her during a sandstorm. Historians missed the sunscreen streaks. Dawn bleeds apricot across the dunes. Your shadow finally obeys gravity mostly. The elder flicks a beetle off their sleeve. 18 generations back, my ancestor married a lightning bolt. Family reunions get illuminating. A hot wind gusts, carrying the scent of wet clay. You realize the stones underfoot weep. Tiny droplets cling to their surfaces, trembling, not falling up or down, just holding on. The elder nods. There, rain that finally chose itself. Somewhere, a nightingale coughs. The elder pockets a still levitating pebble. We'll call it a paperweight. For invisible letters. Your shadow stretches west, normal again, if shadows can ever be normal here. The elder sniffs a upturned fistful of air. Petrichor's shy cousin Skypatriture needs a better name. Marketing teams asleep. The students straggle behind, casting double shadows that can't decide on a light source. One mutters, "Desert's drunk." "Desert's sober," corrects the elder. "We're the ones swaying." Stone rain hangs like flawed crystal. You touch one, it hums middle C, the elder winks. Hit 3 at once. You'll summon a very confused Bach. Sunlight hits the suspended drops. Prism cracks, splitting the air. The elder shields their eyes. And there's our covenant. Rainbow with commitment issues. You step through the spectral arch, half expecting baptism. Your tunic stays dry, but your bones resonate like struck glass. The elder chuckles. There. Now you're officially an aqueduct. The dunes murmur, shifting their weight like jurors. Somewhere, water laughs underground. A child's laugh bubbles up from the dunes. Or is it the wind? You turn toward the sound and nearly trip over the beggar. He sits cross-legged where moments ago lay only sand. His bowl's a crescent moon of chipped ceramic, cracks radiating like 5 a.m. doubts. Coins melt here, he rasps. But stars stick around. The elder nudges your elbow. Take it. The bowl weighs more than your liver, less than your conscience. Inside, nothing but a dried beetle carcass and your own warped reflection. The beggar wheezes. Persian royals drank from beggars' bowls during eclipses, thought it cured royalness. Worked too well, hence the fall of empires. You tilt the vessel, no hidden compartments, no clever mirrors, just dust. The elder sighs. Ottoman astrologers mapped zodiacs on bowl interiors. Missed the real trick, staring past the glaze into the unfiltered sky. 80 heartbeats, 7, 12. The beggar and elder bicker, ancient tennis match with no net. You count. At 12 pulses, the bowl's rim blurs. Constellations condense in its hollow, serious winking beside Beetlejuice. Not reflections, occupants, Eleusinian mysteries, used hierophants cups this way, murmurs the elder. Of course theirs had better catering. The beetle carcass floats, Antony trailing stardust. Medieval pope banned bronze bowls during comets, muses the beggar. Thought they'd steal heaven's fire. Jokes on him. Venetian glass blurs got rich smuggling starlight in perfume vials. A shooting star zips across the bowl's inner curve, pausing mid-stride to lick Orion's foot. The elder snaps their fingers. Focus. Gravity's shiftier than a cat burglar. Your palms ache, but not from weight. It's the bowl's silence, a vacuum hum below human hearing. The beggar plucks a piece of starlight. It stretches like saltwater taffy. Alchemists called this lux incarcerata. Some bishops used it for glow-in-the-dark communion wafers, until mice got pious. Wind ruffles the stars, they ripple like ducks on a pond. The Big Dipper's handle drips liquid mercury. 18th century sailor sold canned starlight to Dutch widows, says the elder. Turned out to be fireflies in pickle jars. Still outsold Van Gogh prints. The bowl vibrates. Orion aims his arrow at your left eye. Don't blink, advises the beggar. Sumerian guardsmen lost eyelids that way. You hold steady, arrow quivers, transforms into a blooming olive branch. The elder nods. Good. Now tip it slowly over your head. Stellar soup pours over your scalp, cold and carbonated. Constellations nest in your hair, Pleiades braiding themselves through split ends. The beggar claps, sand flies from his palms. Polish king tried bathing in asteroid dust. Grew translucent. State portraits got awkward. The elder produces a date pit, drops it into the bowl. It sinks through Ursa Major, emerges as a walnut-sized moon. Cratered Kepler, they announce. Only 6 exist. Galileo lost 3 playing backgammon with a Medici. Stars fade. The bowl resumes its cracked banality. You stare into its depths, and your reflection winks. The beggar snatches it back. Careful. Self-awareness is 90% concussions. Historians still argue whether Sufi star bowls were metaphors or early Grecian urns with commitment issues, says the elder. Either way, treasure what weighs nothing. Anchors just slow you down. The beggar licks his bowl clean, stars glittering in his beard. Final lesson: hunger's the best sauce and the worst astronomer. Mars flickers in his left nostril. You glance skyward. True, stars mirror the bowl's pattern. Or is it vice versa? The elder smirks. Trick question. Both stole the design from a Hungarian soup recipe. Dawn bleeds tangerine across the horizon. The bowl's cracks drink the light greedily. The beggar yawns, crescent-shaped. 5th century monks argued about camel spit viscosity. This feels similar. Your shadow stretches, no longer yours. It's a basilisk's silhouette, or maybe a very ambitious earthworm. The elder flicks your ear. We're here, the bowl's empty, and you're drama queening. Classic. The child's laugh returns closer now. The beggar presses the vessel to your chest. Hold this till nightfall. Not for you, for the stars. They get lonely. As you walk away, sand rasping between toes, the bowl sighs. Cassiopeia's crown gleams in its depths, but only when you're not looking. Pain flares behind your ribs, a twin sting, sharp then dull, as the elder's shadow falls across your chest. Their palm presses below your collarbone, warmth spreading like ink in water. Ah, they murmur, the love scorpion and fear scorpion, roommates with matching venom. Your breath hitches, something clicks audibly beneath muscle. The elder's thumbnail traces your sternum. Pharaohs wore gold scorpion amulets here, not for protection, to remember even sun kings carry poison. A dry chuckle. Worked great till Cleopatra tried milking hers for date wine. The sting deepens, radiating toward your shoulder blades. You taste iron. 13th century alchemists distilled scorpion oil to cure cowardice, says the elder, fingers mapping your ribs. Mostly cured wallets of gold. 2 distinct pressures now, one hot, one cold, crawl beneath your skin. The elder tilts their head. Medieval Persians believed twin scorpions guard every heart. Feed one, the other starves. Trick is deciding which is which. Moonlight thrums in your molars. The cold sting moves first, sharp legs pricking your diaphragm. Fear scorpions restless, notes the elder. Typical. Ottoman generals bred them for message delivery. Faster than pigeons, worse pension plans. You try laughing, it comes out a wheeze. The hot sting curls possessively around a lung. Love scorpions heavier, says the elder. Like Mamluk war armor. Beautiful engraving, suffocating in summer. Their nail taps your rib. Historians still argue whether Rumi's 2 scorpions meant lust and piety, or just indigestion from Albanian figs. Wind gusts, sand against your neck. The cold sting surges upward, icicle claws grazing your throat. Sufi poets wrote about this duality for centuries. The elder continues. Mostly while drunk on pomegranate wine and bad decisions. Your fingertips brush warm cartilage under skin. The hot sting arches into the touch. The elder slaps your hand away. Don't pet the existential horrors. 6th century nuns tried that. Founded the short-lived Order of the Itching Veil. Both scorpions still, suddenly synchronized. The elder leans closer. Here's the secret. They share a stomach. Feed fear, love digests it. Feed love, fear steals the nutrients. Their grin flashes in the dark. Greek physicians prescribed scorpion venom for excess passion. Worked so well. Byzantium had a celibacy epidemic. The stings soften, blurring into a single ache beneath your ribs. You exhale dates and dust. Mongol warriors carried live scorpion pairs in pouches, says the elder. Believed their fighting spirit seeped into the heart, probably just seeped into their laundry. Stars pulse overhead, or is that your heartbeat? The elder presses a thumb between your eyebrows. Dutch traders sold dual scorpion elixir for marital woes, 90% gunpowder, 10% actual scorpion. Best reviews came from divorce lawyers. Coolness spreads from their touch. The scorpions settle like cats after prey. They've been here since your first breath, the elder whispers. Midwives in Babylon placed clay scorpions on newborns' chests, not to protect, to remind them life bites back. Your ribs creak, a sound like bending palm fronds. The elder stands abruptly, dusting sand from their robes. Scholars still argue whether Sufi dualism borrowed from Zoroastrian devs, or just plagiarized a really good campfire story. The night smells of burnt cinnamon. You press a hand to your chest, feeling dual heartbeats skittering under bone. Don't name them, warns the elder. Named things grow faster. See, Marco Polo's ill-fated pet leopard pancakes. Dawn's first blush stains the eastern dunes. The scorpions stir again, hot and cold, push and pull, as the elder tosses you a fig. Breakfast, they say. Split it evenly, or we'll be here all decade. You tear the fruit, sweetness explodes on your tongue. The elder watches, eyes crinkling. Mamluk sultans held dual scorpion duels during eclipses. Winner got land grants. Loser got a very poetic funeral. Juice drips down your wrist, sticky and insistent. The hot sting follows it, drawn to sugar. They're your oldest friends, says the elder, gathering their robes. Just don't let them throw surprise parties. 7th century Baghdad still has noise complaints. You take 2 steps toward the fading stars, chest burning, scorpions tangling when the elder calls out. Oh, and if one escapes, follow the trail of maudlin poetry and unsent letters. Laughter trickles from the dunes, maybe the child, maybe your own ribs buzzing. You press a hand to the twin heat under your shirt and whisper 2 names to the wind. The elder's distant voice carries on the breeze. Told you not to name them. Sand shifts underfoot as the scorpions settle for now. Your fingers close on empty air, reaching for something solid when the elder's stick taps your wrist. Hungry ghosts, they mock. Try harder. Even mirages need practice. Sand grinds between your teeth as you swipe again. The elder sighs. Medieval Arab traders tied invisible faith ropes to camels during sandstorms, followed the tug home when they weren't hallucinating from thirst. An itch blossoms on your palm like twine coiling beneath skin. The elder loops their fingers in a pretend knot. Victorian psychics swore they could not ether chords to summon ancestors. Mostly summoned rug burns instead. You yank downward, muscles tense, but meet no resistance. The elder snorts. Pull toward your gut where the fierce scorpion naps. It knows fake ropes better than anyone. A warm pulse answers, not pain this time, as tension gathers in your elbow crease. 10th century sailors used rope metaphors for faith, says the elder. Easier to splice than genuine belief. The air thickens, your forearm trembles holding nothing. Historians still argue whether the invisible rope came from Bedouin traditions or drunken debates between 12th century chess champions. The elder spits. Ropes fray. Drop them. Sudden weight, your shoulder dips. The elder grins. Got it. Sufis called this Allah's bindle. Carry burdens you can't see, return them with interest. Wind plucks at your invisible load. The scorpions shift, one approving, one wary as you adjust your grip. Don't overthink, warns the elder. Mongol scouts mapped deserts by feeling tugs from nowhere. Died well hydrated and deeply confused, your knuckles whiten around nothingness. Alchemists wrote recipes for rope-binding spells, mostly to con nobles out of silver, they say. Real magic's simpler. Breathe, pull, repeat. A distant bell tolls, sound weaving through the dunes. The elder cups their ear. 13th century caravans buried brass bells under sand. Ring when someone finally stops yanking. You release the rope, but it clings to your palm like resin. The elder nods. Ottoman poets described love as a severed rope, both ends still swinging. Nice metaphor, terrible for boat repair. Dawn spills gold over your empty hands. They toss a date pit into the wind. Most spend lives braiding ropes, then wonder why they're tangled. Better too, a phantom jerk nearly topples you. The elder steadies your elbow. Let the rope braid you instead. Works 80% of the time. Other 20, great campfire stories. Scorpion venom thrums in time with your pulse. You grip the air again, gentler now, and feel the night itself bend. "Ata boy," murmurs the elder. "Now try skipping." Your laugh sends desert mice scattering. The rope hums a low C sharp as you tug experimentally. Persian architects modeled minarets after taut ropes. They say, "Call to prayer works best, stretched between earth and nowhere." Muscles burn, yet sing. The elder fades into sunlight. Remember too, but you're already pulling not toward anything, not away, just holding firm between surrender and stubbornness. Somewhere, a camel sneezes approval. The rope isn't there. The rope is everything. Your blistered palms choose to believe both. The fire shrinks to a single coal, its glow etching every crack in the elder's face as wind hisses through dead grass. You lean closer and recoil. That's no ordinary ember. It winks like a living eye. Persian alchemists called this azalat. The elder whispers. Fire that remembers being worshipped. Trouble is, it also remembers being stepped on. Their chuckle stirs, ash motes into a frantic dance. Silence pools around you, thicker than the night's first hour. The elder flips their empty palms upward. Mamluk soldiers carried embers in lion bladder pouches, swore they hissed warnings before ambushes. Historians still argue whether it was battle magic or bad, jerky fumes. Your kneecap pops as you shift, too loud in the quiet, and the elder arches one wiry eyebrow. 11th century Sufis debated how to listen to dying fires. Some heard God's last breath, others just hunger pangs. The coal dims, your shadow stretches gaunt across dunes. Hungry, the elder pulls a date from their robe, coated in pocket lint. Abbasid caliphs served roasted peacock tongues at midnight banquets. Coincidence? Only if you ignore the chronic indigestion. You decline. They shrug, pop the date into their own mouth, and talk through sticky molars. Fire's best trick, making us mourn light while our own bones glow. A cough rattles their chest, mine's down to 30% luminosity. Final sail. Wind snuffs the coal. Darkness falls like a dropped robe. The elder's voice comes from nowhere, everywhere. Medieval Baghdad had a fire cult, burnt their whole library to read the truth in ash. Quacks, but their love potions, a dry chuckle, used to put that ash in perfume, caused 6 months of regrettable poetry. Your hand gropes for the dead fire, fingertips brush something cold and slick. Ice, you blurt. Caliph's revenge, the elder mutters. Ottoman ice traders hid winter chunks under straw and dung. Melting. Add more dung. Poetic, really, if you ignore the smell. Stars wheel overhead. The Milky Ways smear like a veil torn sideways. The elder clears their throat, a sound like grinding flint. your breath's louder than a Fatimid tax collector. Relax. Even empty deserts need listeners. Something wet plops on your wrist. Rain. You lift your face and recoil as a bat's wing grazes your cheekbone. The elder snorts. Egyptian fruit bats. Cute until they nest in your beard. Want advice? Grow a better beard. The darkness softens dawn's first gray seeping through. The elder's form shimmers like heat haze. Here's the secret they'll deny. In every madrasa, wisdom isn't found. It's recognized. You've carried it since your first scream. A moth lands on your knuckle, pale wings fanning faster than prayer beads. The elder's voice drops to a sigh. Sufi glassblowers in Aleppo made lamps so thin they'd shatter if you thought too loud. You're holding 12 generations of their silence. Your thumb rubs the moth's velvety head, it shivers, but stays. The elder coughs, a wet, final sound. When they write your epitaph, say it burned clean, no half-charred dreams left. Light spreads, the elder's wrinkles smoothing into nothingness. Their last words hang as the moth takes flight. Forgive me. The lesson was always yours. I just liked the sound of my voice. Sunrise paints the dead fire pit. Where the coal once lay, a perfect obsidian arrowhead. You press it to your palm and feel 13 heartbeats trapped in stone. The scorpions purr. Somewhere, a camel belches. You pocket the arrowhead, its edges worn smooth by hands you'll never know, and walk east. The desert keeps your shadow as down payment. Dawn bleaches the east, your shadow spills across sand that's already forgetting your footsteps. The circle lies empty, yet the scorpion's purr hums in your jawbone. Warmth lingers where seekers sat, like stones holding noon heat through desert nights. You kneel, fingertips brushing a trampled patch, and taste iron on your tongue. Ottoman caravanserai once stood here. Historians still debate whether merchants paid in silver or secrets. A beetle scuttles over your boot, its shell glazed blue as Isfahan tiles. They polish themselves with spit. The elder's voice ghosts through your skull. Vanity spans all 6 kingdoms. Wind reshapes the dunes, burying yesterday's lessons under fresh curves. Your pocket weighs heavy with the arrowhead and something else. Reaching in, you find a date pit lint-fuzzed and sticky. Memory flashes, the elder's linty snack, their chuckle about Abbasid indigestion. You pocket it grinning. Even prophets need comic relief. A dust devil spirals westward, its funnel twisting like a dervish's skirt. Bedouin guides once followed these whirlwinds, believing they carried jinn-to-jinn gossip. Your canteen gurgles, 3 sips left. Either drink now or save them for the hallucinations. Something crunches underfoot. You unearth a clay shard etched with half-moons. Mamluk coffee cups bore these marks, code for which fort spies you were drinking with. This one's edge fits the curve of your palm, as if molded to your lifeline. The wind shifts, carrying a rasp like parchment being unfolded. You turn and freeze. Where the fire pit stood, a circle of black glass. It winks at you, liquid obsidian cooled mid-bubble. Phoenician traders prized such desert glass for sun rituals or window panes. Depended who was buying. Your reflection warps in the glass, nose stretched, eyes scooped hollow. A moth's shadow flits across the surface, then 3, then 9. Aleppo glassblowers send their regards. You murmur, voice startlingly like the elders. A shiver climbs your spine despite the climbing sun. Sand cascades into your sandals, each grain a tiny hourglass. Timur's engineers once calculated battle timetables by how long it took sand to fill a helmet. Your left shoes halfway there. Tactical retreat recommended. A shadow drapes across the glass, not yours. You whirl, but only spotted your boa twitching its whiskers. The elder's words surface, unbidden. Every absence leans on a presence somewhere else. Comforting, until you're the absence. You kick the glass, it doesn't budge. Since when does sand make bedrock? The jerboa sneezes or laughs. Hard to tell with rodents. Bending closer, you spot carvings in the glass, spirals within spirals. Ancient Nabateans carved similar patterns, though historians still argue whether they mapped trade routes or children's games. Your thumbnail traces a groove. It thrums like a plucked lute string. Heat shimmers, promise mirages, yet the circle feels solid. Realer than your blisters, realer than the road ahead. You touch the glass again, it's warm. Not sun warm, pulse warm. A skittering sound, pebbles rolling behind you. You tense, then exhale. Just the wind rearranging its jewelry. Wait, since when does wind stack rocks into cairns? 3 pebbles balance atop each other, precarious as a Fatimid dynasty. The air smells suddenly of time and forge smoke. Memory or mirage? Your stomach votes for lunch. Digging through your pack, you find, of course, more lint. The elder's final joke lingers, like a riddle you're not sure you want to solve. Sunlight bleaches the dunes bone white. You rise back protesting like a stubborn camel and face the horizon. The circle remains at your heels, patient as an unsheathed sword. No true endings here, only pauses for the next breath, the next pilgrim, the next punchline lost to the wind. You turn, shoulder blades prickling as sand erases your trail. A child's giggle floats past, though only lizard tracks dent the nearest dune. Historians still argue whether the Nabateans built Petra as a tomb city or a machine for harvesting starlight. Your left footprint glints oddly. You crouch to find mica flakes pressed into the sole. There shy comes a whisper. Your steps want to practice their dancing while you're not looking. Wind plucks at your hem. You resist turning. Ottoman spice roots once thrived here, carrying cardamom and paranoia in equal measure. A shadow flutters at the edge of vision, too fluid for a rock, too jerky for a jackal. Your neck hairs rise. You've read about the walking sands illusion, bedtime stories for overland traders. None mentioned the giggles. Something tugs your pack, not forcefully. Like a toddler begging attention, you snap around to find your own boot print wriggling in the sand. It reshapes itself, heel pivoting, toes splaying into a perfect camel's hoof. Cleopatra, you mutter, invoking the queen's rumored sandal swirls. A hot gust blurs the print, resetting it to human. Mostly, the air smells suddenly of burnt honey, a scent the Mamluks used to mark safe desert passages. Your canteens down to warm dregs. Drinking them feels like swallowing a secret. A pebble clacks against another behind you, rhythmic as a czar drum. You hum the elder's pulse song, and the clacking falters. Shadows lengthen, except yours. It lags 3 paces back, then 5. When you halt, it keeps crawling forward, stretching toward a thorn bush. Historians still puzzle over 9th century Basra's shadow markets, where vendors sold silhouettes of mythical beasts. Your shadow curves into something with too many knees. You whistle sharply. It snaps back into shape. Mostly, a weight brushes your palm cold and smooth. You unclench your fist to find a Roman-era glass bead, its spiral pattern matching the Obsidian circles carvings. Scholars claim these were currency. Drunk legionnaires probably traded them for bad decisions. The bead warms, then crumbles to dust. Your fingers stay clean. Sand creaks beneath you, not the usual hiss. You freeze. Bedouin lore warns of singing dunes that trap careless travelers. The vibration rises to a purr, the same pitch as the scorpion's farewell. Your knees unlock first, then your lungs. Walking feels like floating. A shape darts ahead, too low for a human, too upright for an animal. It pauses atop a dune, reveals a silhouette with your posture, your stride, your hitch step from that twisted ankle 3 days back. Dancing's easier without the audience, says the child voice now above you. A falcon, a trick of thirst. You pull the linty date pit from your pocket, still tacky. Toss it ahead. Before it lands, 4 tiny handprints erupt from the sand, snatching the pit midair. A wet crunch follows. Someone's defending their snack monopoly. The horizon shimmers, not with heat, but something granular. A wall of dust marches toward you, ruddy as a crusader's banner. Storm or salvation. Your shadow tugs westward, insistent. You follow. Footprints appear ahead, fresh ones, yours, but from yesterday. The scuff where you tripped over that snake hole. The deeper press of your right heel, always favoring that side. They wind east toward the storm. Your current footprints veer west. A choice splits the air, viscous as fig syrup. A grumble shakes the ground or your stomach. You recall Umayyad poets comparing hunger to a lover's tantrum. The date pit thief giggles again. Sand sprays your ankles, playful or impatient. Light fractures, the storm's edge hits. Grit peppers your face. You pull your scarf up and spot them. Dozens of footprints, all yours, swirling in the maelstrom. Some march toward battles you avoided. Others drag through heartbreaks you've nursed. One set glows faintly, the path you didn't take to the oasis. A small hand grips yours, weightless but warm. They're practicing, shouts the voice through the howling air. Dancing makes them brave. You squint, See your footprints waltzing with phantom steps, a arabesque of maybes, a pirouette of almosts. The storm dies as suddenly as it came. Dawn's first light gilds the dunes. Your shadow now walks ahead, leading. Behind, nothing but smooth sand. No trace of the dance. No proof except the mica still clinging to your soles, and the sense that somewhere your old blisters are laughing. Wind slicks the sweat from your neck as you mount the dune's crest, each grain sliding beneath your sandals like 1,000 tiny escapes. That half-heard syllable returns, not wind, not quite language, but the desert's oldest taunt. Bedouin traders once followed caravanserai bells through this waste, 96 way stations between Damascus and Medina's spice souks. Your canteens strap chafes, raw skin, suffering's just attention gone feral. The elder once joked, while making you hold a scorpion. Something clinks underfoot. You unearth a thumb-sized pottery shard glazed turquoise. Archaeologists found 700 similar fragments at a nearby dig, all emitting faint hums when stroked. You drag the edge across your palm. Silence until the exact pressure that once sealed amphory of Mesopotamian dates, a burbling C-sharp, vibrates your wristbone. The elder's chuckle comes from everywhere. Listen, that's the note camels miss their mothers with. Sand swirls around your ankles, scripting characters you can't read. Historians still argue whether pre-Islamic Arabs used dune writing to send messages, or if the desert itself kept diaries. Those marks twist into your initials, then scatter. Your shadow stretches unnaturally long, splits into 4 thinner versions, snaps back. 10th century poets wrote of sand doubles who completed pilgrims, Hajj, when they faltered. You check for extra shadows, just your own, flickering mockingly. The syllable loops louder now, 2 vowels pressed like a child's cheek against glass. Nearly there, murmurs a voice that might be your own. Red sandstone formations rise ahead, their arches carved by wind into perfect sound holes. Certain scholars insist these were intentional, desert lutes playing Earth's rotation. You step between 2 pillars, and the air warps. That syllable blooms into 3 notes, resolving into a name. Not yours, never yours. A jackal watches from a ledge, or maybe you're the jackal. Perspective blurs here. The elder warned about dune madness. Your left sandal snaps, a casualty of unraveling stitches. 8th century Cordoban leather. They really don't make blisters like they used to. You limp forward. The rock underfoot dips, reveals a mosaic's edge. Some mad Roman governor tiled his villa floor here, chasing the sea that vanished millennia prior. Why must conquerors always tile things? The stones depict fish swallowing their own tails, each scale a different mineral. Your reflection in an obsidian eye shows 20 faces, all strangers, all familiar. Heat shimmers become figures ahead your height, your gait. One stumbles exactly where you tripped yesterday. Another pauses to adjust, an invisible pack. Dance partners snorts the elder's voice. Though they've two left feet, like someone I chided about scorpions. Tourmaline grit finds your molars. The name, if it is a name, lodges behind your sternum. It scratches, tentative as a viper's first shed. Trade maps from the Magyar movement show this region-marked land of the first syllable, though cartographers called it superstition. You cough, taste mica and myrrh. A cleft in the rocks offers shade and a surprise. 7 stone bowls embedded in the wall, each holding rain silt and dead beetles. Qumran's Essenes used similar cups for ritual ablutions, but these reek of fermented dates. The syllable crescendos. It's inside your skull now, echoing off bone. Your soul's not a drum, mocks the elder, this time from your left elbow. Why try skinning it with language? You flick a beetle husk, it spirals into a dust devil, becomes a miniature whirling dervish. The name twists with it, feeding on the spin. Wind dies. No, it's been dead for hours. What you took for breeze was the land exhaling. Ahead a well, not the elder's sacred one, cruder, older. A rope dangles into blackness. Your fingers itch to test its age, Roman hemp, Nabatean flax. The syllable strums your ribs, urgent. Void calls void, says someone behind you. Don't turn, you've read how mirages materialize from peripheral glances. The rope sways without wind. You count heartbeats, 17, before the first whimper rises from below. Not human, unless grief counts as species. The elder's last lesson whispers back. What you won't face becomes the floor under your feet. Sand trickles into your collar, scratchy reminder of mortality. You kick a stone into the well. It doesn't fall, suspended midair or caught in some throat. The world holds its breath, then the ground beneath you thrums. 7 distinct pulses, then the rope jerks upward empty. You walk. What else is there? The syllable fuses with your footfalls now, a 5-note pattern the dunes mimic. Behind, the well's whimper dwindles. Ahead, nothing but light bent through heat. Your shadow stretches, snaps, stretches again. It holds a shape you've never seen, too many joints, an alphabet of angles. The elder's laugh arrives late, but you're already mouthing the truth. Language fails here. Always did. The name was never yours to carry, just the vibration of a rib, asking a hip bone which way home. You crest the final dune, and the desert exhales your first cry. The one your mother swore sounded like laughter. Dust plumes catch sunset, each particle a tongue. They chant what can't be written, only walked. Wind sweeps the last syllable from your lips, sells it to a passing vulture. You touch your throat, intact, emptied. Night floods in velvet eraser. Somewhere the elder's fire stutters. Somewhere your old footprints finally master the waltz. Here, just your breath sinking with scorpion hearts, and the stars copying your blisters. Wind slicks the sweat from your neck as you crest the final dune. Sand grains, whispering through your sandals, like a fading breath. That half-heard syllable softens now, not wind, not language, but the desert's lullaby humming through your bones. Your canteen hangs light, strap worn smooth against your palm. Suffering's just attention gone feral. The elder once said, their voice now woven into the dusk. The pottery shard warms in your hand, its turquoise glaze catching twilight. You press it to your chest, the hum syncing with your pulse. No need for words here. The desert sings through cracked clay, through stars pricking the violet sky. Your shadow stretches thin and willing, no longer fighting the pull of horizons. Night air cools your raw throat. Somewhere a jackal's cry unravels into laughter. Or maybe it's the elder's fire crackling in memory. You count 7 stars mirrored in the obsidian eye of a mosaic fish, its tail forever chasing silence. No conquerors here, just your breath, steady shaping clouds that drift toward unseen palms. The rope sways limp and silent as you step past the well. Let its whimpers fade. Let the unnameable syllable nestle among your ribs. Your shadow walks ahead now, gentler, fewer angles, a shape that fits the dark. Sand cradles each footprint, teaching the earth your rhythm. You lie back, spine settling into dunes, sculpted by 1,000 exhales. Scorpions stir below, their heartbeat songs rising through grit. The mosaic's fish blink once, swallowing moonlight, spilling it as silver dust. Your eyelids grow heavy, the desert's oldest hymn dissolving into warmth. Nearly there, you murmur, and for once, the words hold no road, no thirst. Night folds over you velvet and patient. Somewhere, your mother's laughter echoes in a vulture's glide, in the scuff of sand against stone. The stars, those blisters of light, press close, then softer, then gone. Breath slows. Skin becomes sand, becomes sky. No drum, no drumming, just the space between notes where home hums.